Odisha University of Agriculture and Technology, one CGIAR Initiative on National Policies and Strategies, International Food Policy Research Institute, and the Department of Agriculture, I extend my heartiest welcome to all the delegates present here. A big round of applause, please. I'd like to announce that we have attendees from different sector agencies, private sector, donors, civil society organizations, and farmers. Today's meeting shall encompass 3 technical sessions followed by a panel discussion. The technical sessions will be on the themes of transformation livestock value chain. We shall then have a panel discussion to deliberate about the prospect of agri-food value chain as well. This consultation is basically organized to analyze the agri-food value chains and identify the drivers of transforming those chains in Odisha, to understand emerging challenges and opportunities in the agri-food value chain, and finally, to understand the essential policy and institutional reforms to transform agri-food system in Odisha as well. Thank you again for your patient listening, and I take this opportunity to welcome our dignitaries today on the dais. We have with us Professor Prabhat Kumar Rao, sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Odisha University of Agriculture and Technology. Sir, we thank you for gracing this occasion. A big round of applause, please. We have our Honorable Chief Guest of the Day, Dr. Arvind Kumar Padhi, sir, Principal Secretary, Department of Agriculture and Farmers Empowerment, Government of Odisha. Sir, we are very happy to have you with us. Thank you. We have with us a special delegate from abroad, Dr. Clemens Brissinger, Senior Research Fellow and Global Director for CGIAR Initiative on National Policies and Strategies. Sir, it's an honor for us that you've joined this session. IFPRI, Researcher, International Water Management Institute, for joining us in this inaugural ceremony. We have with us Dr. Barun Dekpal, Research Coordinator, International Food Policy Research Institute. Thank you. Last but not the least, we have Dr. Sarvanayan Mishra, sir, Professor and Head, Department of Agricultural Economics, who is the Principal Investigator of this project. Sir is also from the Odisha University of Agriculture and Technology. A very warm welcome, sir. I request our volunteers to welcome us.
Then if you have, just give it to the Vice Chancellor and then Vice Chancellor. Thank you, everyone.
I would now like to request our dignitaries.
Remember the please. You can just watch this. Dr. Mishra, please come. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Agriculture and Technology to present.
Vice Chancellor, Professor Prabhat Kumar Rao ji, Revered Principal Secretary, Department of Agriculture and Farmers Empowerment, Dr. Arvind Kumar Padhi ji, esteemed guests from abroad, from USA, Kenya, and Egypt, namely Dr. Clemens Brissinger and Dr. Karl Poe from International Food Policy Research Institute, and also Dr. Yumna Kassim from Egypt, and also our esteemed delegates from CIP, International Potato Center, Mr. Leonard Kirui and Mr. Mohinder Kadian, and also our delegate from International Life Research Institute, Dr. Sirak Behta from Kenya. Respected dignitaries, Director, Director of Agriculture, Horticulture, Soil Conservation, also Director Agricultural Marketing, esteemed speakers of different sessions, Member Secretary of CYST, Dr. Jagadanand, maybe you will be arriving shortly, and Deans, Directors, Professors, scientists from OUAT and other ICR institutions, dignitaries from government and other institutions, private sectors, and also some startups, so they have also joined. Farmer representatives also, media persons, and dear student participants, ladies and gentlemen. Myself, Professor Sarvanarayan Misra, holding the post of also Director of Consultancy Cell of OUAT and also Principal Investigator of the project. I feel honored to give this warm welcome to all our esteemed delegates of Agri-Food System Growth in Odisha, running under Mine Directorate, and is kind enough to the project. Sir, on behalf of this project, heartily welcome you to present this concept. He is the brain behind the project coming to Odisha. He used to give all necessary advice to us empowerment family, and always he is engrossed in development of agriculture and allied sectors of the state. He is kind enough to extend his kind consent to as chief guest of today's inaugural function. And every one of us will be happy to know that last night itself he received the Global Model for Millets Promotion Award from Honorable Governor of Telangana at the International Nutri-Cereals Convention at Hyderabad. And in spite of his in the early morning in this inaugural session of today's consultation meeting, sir, on behalf of the project and on behalf of the OUAT family, on behalf of the IFPRI family, we extend all our heartily welcome to this consultation meeting. A special welcome to Dr. Kalpo, Senior Research Fellow, IFPRI, Washington DC, who physically visited OUAT and also consulted also our Honorable Vice Chancellor on 21st November 2022. And on that day he had given a brief impression of our future endeavors, and that started today. So my special thanks, and I also welcome Dr. Kaul to this consultation meeting. I also welcome my friends from IFPRI, Dr. Barun Devpal, Research Coordinator, and Mr. Manmit, who have their wholehearted efforts from the beginning of the project till today, and will be our associates till completion of the project. So I heartily welcome both of you. Further, I welcome Professor K.R. Ashok, former Director, Tamil Nadu Agricultural University, and also Head of the Department of Economics, and also Fellow of Indian Society of Agricultural Economics. So, welcome you, sir, Dr. K.R. Ashok. And also, I welcome Dr. Amarendra Reddy. So, he is a very notable person in our academic community. So, welcome you, sir. He is now representing from ICIAR National Institute of Biotic Stress Management. Who could come directly to this meeting in spite of his very professional pre-engagements. So I also welcome all our directors, especially Mr. Prabhu Kalyan Patnaik, Director of Agricultural Marketing, Member Secretary, who has keen interest to, he also stated to be also a learner from this session. So I welcome you, sir. The workshop is a part of collaborative work from OUAT and IFPRI under CGIAR initiatives on national policies and strategies and Government of Odisha. Although agriculture sector of the state has huge potential to harness, the state is still lacking some efficient value chains across the sectors. The primary objective of the project is to understand different drivers of agri-food system transformation in the state. Secondly, to identify major constraints and priority areas of investment, and policies and institutional reforms to transform agri-food system of Odisha. So given this backdrop, we have invited government officials, academicians, international organizations to discuss and debate on these issues, so that at the end of the day, we can identify policy priorities and investment opportunities that can truly help in agri-food system transformation in our state in a most vibrant and sustainable manner. So in this context, I will just welcome Dr. Clemens Bissinger to narrate the details about this Agrifood system.
Thank you, Dr. Mishra. Also for the great tour. We got a tour this morning of the building. We also got some flowers, some very warm welcome. My wife will be very jealous when I tell her about it. So thank you very much. I would also like to thank Dr. Arabinda Kumar Paddy for hosting us. Thank you very much. And also our partner, Professor Pravat Kumar Ruel, for the partnership. So thank you very much. And welcome to all of you to this event, our partners, CGIAR colleagues, and everyone in the room. It's a true pleasure for me. It's my first time in Odisha State. I'm very impressed. I'm here to listen and to learn and to see how we can continue our partnership and all the good work that has been done so far. So part of the idea of this meeting today, as you have mentioned, is to take stock of what we have and then together co-create a way forward. We are here to partner, we are here to learn, we are here to support and to work together. Now, today I'm wearing sort of two hats. One is my IFPRI hat, International Food Policy Research Institute. We are very happy to have a memorandum of understanding with Odisha State, and I'm happy that we'll be setting up an office here soon. So thank you for this, and I think this will provide also a very nice umbrella for a broader CGIAR collaboration with Odisha State. So that brings me to my second hat. I'm also leading the National Policies and Strategies Initiative, and that initiative brings together a lot of the policy work that the CGIAR is doing, and I'm happy that we have several centers in this initiative and also in the room, because in the past I think each center was knocking on the door separately. Now we bring our strengths together to the table. So we have ILRI, the International Livestock Research Institute. We have IMI, the International Water Management Institute. We have SIP, the Potato Center, and others. Everyone brings their strength, and hopefully together we can make a difference here. Now, the National Policies and Strategies Initiative specifically is all about co-creating policies and strategies. It also has a strong focus on capacity sharing. So a lot of the things that we do, we'll do them together, and we learn from each other. That's the whole spirit. Now, for today, again, a lot of the good work has been done, and congratulations to Carl and the team. There is a lot of other work that has been done, the livestock master plan, work on roots and tubers. So let's review what we have, and then build on that. Let's create an agenda for moving forward. Thank you once again for having all of us here. I'm really looking forward to the workshop today. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That was indeed very insightful. Now I would like to welcome Mr. Archishman Mitra, researcher, International Water Management Institute, to present the overview on national policies and strategies in India.
Thanks to all the distinguished guests and panelists who have joined us today. So as Clemens mentioned about the national policies and strategies, it is a continuous work from the CG organizations have been working with Indian government and state governments. Like he mentioned, the MOU that IFPRI has with Odisha government, then also we have in the OPICRA program, IRI and World Fish are working. We have also partnered with NRRI. So national policies and strategies sort of helps in continuing the previous works and build all of the institutions together. So my objective here today is to give a brief glimpse of the different activities that we are doing in India under national policies and working with key partners. then integrating policy tools, which basically using training of trainers and integration of user-friendly tools, using modeling tools that will help trade off specific problems to specific schemes in the Indian context, providing evidence-based solutions to those. We are working both at the national and the subnational level across different states, but Odisha is one of our focus states where most of the activities are being held. And we are collaborating across government institutes, CSOs, think tanks, and the community. So just on the building policy coherence task, so as we know that often policies can be fragmented, uncoordinated, and different ministries can be siloed. So our approach in this work has been to identify best practices and existing gaps through analysis of specific policies and through stakeholder interviews. And we are working very closely with government institutes, both at the center and the state. We are doing this work in partnership with CEW, which is the Indian think tank. At the national level, we have already done this policy coherence analysis, looking at in-depth across 7 central schemes. Here, Niti Aayog is guiding us in this work, and the flagship report is being launched in 2024. And then this work we are expanding to 2 states, one in Odisha and one in Rajasthan. The Odisha work has already started. And here again, Dr. Padhi sir is guiding us in doing this work. So we'll have this stakeholder consultation in 14 December to look at the findings from this analysis. So we'll be looking at 9 schemes, 5 are central level schemes, and 4 important state level schemes, Odisha Millet Mission, then Kalia, then OPICRA and CLSRP. These are the policies that we'll be looking into, and the final analysis will be in 2024. So this was the work around policy coherence. Then the work that Borun will again give a much more detailed description, but this is using modeling approach for investment and policy prioritization. So there are different tools, including supply and use tables, social accounting matrix modeling, IDEA tool. So the basic objective here is to understanding the complex trade-offs and identifying the drivers of system transformation and analysis of economic-wise impacts of agri-food investments. So they have already, this is a very long work that has already been done in the central level, and they're extending it beyond at the state level. So they're creating database at the state level and modeling in Odisha. They're partnering with Odisha University of Agriculture and Technology. So a lot of the discussion today will build upon this work that has been done, and they will also be doing training with stakeholders. Then again, we are also, as I mentioned, that we are looking at specific policies and specific challenges in those policies. So one work that again IFPRI is leading in Odisha is to increase women's voice and agency in the choice of assets that are being constructed in Manrega. This work is developing information leaflets, videos, and capacity building trainings with rural women. So they will be training almost up to 7,000 women in 4 districts in Odisha. So they are also doing this as an RCT by CSOs and government organizations. Their key intellectual partner here is Pradhan, which is a CSO. Then again, we are looking at two very important policies in the national level, Manrega and Atal Bhujal Yojana. We are doing this work in Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh, looking at how to improve better community participation and improve convergence through these policies. Again, here we are working with CSOs at the state level in the states. And then we already have policy briefs that looks at analyzing the implications of the Russia-Ukraine war on the agri-food systems and policy responses. This was of cash incentive scheme for crop diversification in Punjab and Haryana. So this is a very brief overview of the different activities, but the key thing to note here is that we are partnering across the different stakeholders in the policy process, and we are approaching it in both at a holistic way, looking at different policies through modeling or through qualitative analysis, but also at specific schemes and looking at specific problems, providing evidence on that. So hopefully the discussion today will build upon one of these investment opportunities and agri-value chains. So I'll now hand over to others, and we can, if any questions, we can discuss later. Thanks.
Coordinator, International Food Policy Research Institute, to present the overview of this workshop.
Secretary, Department of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, Government of Odisha, Dr. Padhi, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Odisha University of Agriculture and Technology, our colleague from International Food Policy Research Institute and CGIAR Centers, and also Dr. Mishra. So very good morning and warm welcome to all of you to this particular meeting that we are holding today in collaboration with Odisha University Agricultural Technology and Department of Agriculture. So on my behalf as well as on behalf of my institute, I extend my warm welcome and thanks to the Odisha University and Department of Agriculture for understanding the challenges and opportunities for agri-food value chain in Odisha. So the title is says the Stakeholder Consultation Meeting on Agri-Food Value Chain in Odisha. So now, when we talk about agri-food system and other things, so let me take you one step back. That it is being evident from developed from the traditional towards the modern economy that its agri-food system also transformed gradually. So the transform means that our primary agriculture will be more productive and off-farm share in the total agri-food system will gradually widen up. So that is how this arrow says that in the bottom there is this basis is the primary agriculture. It will be more productive and gradually it will be integrated with the local market, then with the urban agri-food system, and our value-added activities will be more and more, so that our share of value off-farm activities will be widened up. So this is in a nutshell. If we want to understand the agri-food system concept, this is how. The question comes is that it's not about the growth of agriculture or growth of the economy. So when our agri-food system is transforming, whether that agri-food system is ensuring the food and nutrition security for the city or nation or the economy as a whole. That is number one. Number two is that whether that is inclusive enough, like it's providing enough employment opportunity to the people of the economy. Then third one is that whether it is sustainable enough, sustainable in terms of the environmental concern, whether we are following the path or the strategy that is not harming much on the environment in terms of water footprint and climate change issues. So given all the broader overview of agri-food system, in this particular work we are our approach is that to follow the agri-food value chain approach. Agri-food value chain approach we are following to measure the contribution of agri-food system into the economy. It's an economic contribution to the economy, and then we want to try to understand how much it is contributing to the employment. And later on, we can also further, extend this work in terms of analyzing the poverty and inclusivity and other environmental indicators. So technically speaking, the agri-food value chain comprising of the 5 major, actors or major pillars. So on the bottom or on the basis is that primary agriculture. The second is that agro-processing. Third is your trade and transport. Fourth is food services. And fifth is input supply. So if you look at this graph, so we have placed trade and transport in 2 places after primary agriculture as well as after agro-processing. Because trade and transport plays an important role to integrate each and every stages of value addition here. And input supply includes the supply of the fertilizer and supply of different types of input to the agriculture sector, and that also add value. So that it itself means that agriculture is not that only the farming or cultivating crops. And so when we see the statistics, we say that in India it is 17% agriculture contributing to the GDP. Basically, we somehow underestimate agriculture influence in the economy or its contribution, true contribution to the economy. That is why when we look at the agri-food value chain, we basically track the other indirect and off-farm activities that is led by the agriculture sector, that is driven by the agriculture sector in the economy. So if we just quantify what is the real contribution from the agri-food system into the economy. So you all have the fact sheet that Clemens has just now mentioned. So you can see some numbers that we did for for Odisha state, how much agri-food system in this particular state is contributing vis-a-vis the rest of India. If we see that in Odisha it is around 78% is primary agriculture is contributed to the agri-food system. That means our off-farm value addition is still very low. That's where the major policy concern comes in, so that our farmer will be more integrated with the off-farm value addition, so that their income can be enhanced and entire agri-food system will be more productive and agriculture will be more efficient. As compared to the rest of India, it is around 59%. So this is the kind of a comparison we have given here. But the the next one, in our fact sheet, we have given the structure of agri-food system. It's basically here we try to capture the individual value chain, like crop, livestock, horticulture, and within horticulture there are different types of crops. So to see that what kind of, which value chain has a more kind of an off-farm and an on-farm linkages, and where the off-farm share is very high and where is it low, and which will be more productive or more kind of an efficient, but it may not be more feasible for the state. So that is why our purpose today is to listen from all of you that kind of challenges you are facing in terms of your respective value chain, then where we can go beyond that, what is the possibility to scale it up in terms of the efficient, in terms of have the efficient agri-food value chain for the state. So our expectations are three. First is to identify the key drivers that can transform the agri-food system in the state, and then second, to understand the emerging challenges. A lot of our stakeholders are here, so our discussion will understand the challenges and the opportunities, and finally the essential policy and institutional transformation required to have a transformed and inclusive and sustainable agri-food system for the state. With this word, let me close my presentation here, and we will continue it further, and I hope our deliberation will be more productive and successful. Thank you all.
Maybe this workshop will turn out to be very productive. Now may I request our Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir, Professor Prabhat Kumar Raul Sir, please kindly, could you please come and give your address?
A very good morning to all of you. I am happy to be associated. As I look back, our discussions once upon a time was concentrating on food security, had a jump shift to nutritional security. Now we are in the third step, agri-food value chain, a good symptom of a progress in the food arena. We have with us Dr. Padhi, esteemed chief guest, and the Principal Secretary, Agriculture and Farmers Empowerment. Dr. Clemens, the representative from CGIAR, a hearty welcome to him. Dr. Mitra, representing International Water Management Institute. Dr. Pal, also from IFPRI, eminent delegates, who includes not only from within the country but outside the country, from abroad. As I learned, they are from USA, Egypt, and Kenya. My colleagues from OUAT, Dean Community Science UGC, and several other senior faculty members. Senior government officials, including Additional Secretary, as I see here. Developmental agencies, civil society organizations, Dr. Jagadanand from CYST. ICR institutes, as I see, from SIFA, other CGIAR institutes, esteemed delegates. Really, this is a good occasion and in a right perspective so far as agriculture in general and as we consider agriculture and food synonymous in particular. There are four agricultural outputs, and incidentally or coincidentally they start with F. One output is food, the second one is feed and fodder, the third one is fiber, fourth one is fuel. If you integrate these four, these are the four basic agricultural outputs and contributing in many ways. Of course, food is the most significant one, and nowadays also we are quite serious about feed and fodder. And food system exists at different scales. It exists at a global scale, it exists at a regional scale, it exists at national level, also exists at a local level. If you come to the local level, it is a result or resultant of several factors. To name a few, maybe tradition and culture. It was the month of Kartik we never took, or some of us never took non-veg items. It is a tradition, it is a culture, it is affordability or economy, and also ecology. And ecology, unless otherwise it is produced and available, obviously we may not be able to procure. But there are certain challenges which detracts us or which drags us in a better way. Say COVID-19, everybody realized that immunity-driven foods, immunity-based foods should be my preference. We see the demand for turmeric and ginger at that time at COVID-19 period. So that somehow dragged the food value chain in a different direction. And also our affordability. Our affordability also takes us to a different directions in spite of the availability or limitations of availability also. There has been also a shift in government endeavor. I remember Dr. Padhi is now the principal secretary. Once upon a time he was also director, where he was focusing more on cereal production. And now the departmental focus has also changed from cereal-based production to value-based production. He had the opportunity of drafting the second agricultural policy of the state. If I correctly remember, the first was adopted in 1996. The second was in 2008 when Dr. Pathi was the director. And if we look at the first one vis-a-vis the current one, Samruddhi, the first one was focusing on production productivity and Samruddhi focuses on profitability. So that also takes into account the food value chain aspects. We have certain advantages in the state. So far as the positional advantage in production and productivity are concerned, we are first in mushroom production, we are third in cashew production, we are fourth in fish and shrimp production, we are sixth in coconut production, we are also first in sweet potato production, so many and so on and so forth. And we need to encash, because somewhere I mentioned it is not only tradition, economy, culture, but also ecology. If ecology provides this, we can orient our food value chain in those aspects. Similarly, apart from that, government has taken a very proactive step. We are having 12 production clusters. So that enhances our production of scale or availability in quantity, so that it will attract the buyers, the processors, as Dr. Pal was referring to. It is only production, then processing, then trade. These are PPT is the whole sum of food value chain. Last one was, of course, food distribution. So clusters is one strength with us, and not only that, mission. We had our jackfruit mission. We are second in jackfruit production in the entire country. We had our jackfruit mission. We have our seed spices mission. So all these also adds towards these three words, PPT, production, processing and trading. So unless a mission, when there is a mission, when there is a cluster, when there is other supporting policy documents, a shift from production approach to profit approach, obviously it will have an impact. I hope it is a conglomeration of all possible stakeholders, rather I say, to think, to see what are the key identified, what are the key drivers, not only identifying the drivers, but also the challenges, and how this can find a place in the policy so that the state in particular and the country in general is benefited. My best wishes.
Challenges, of course. Now, may I please request our Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. Arvind Kumar Padhi, sir, to please address the audience.
Delegates to this workshop or the consultation workshop. And it's a very quality audience. I must say that I attend meetings almost on a daily basis in this auditorium, but I see a very quality audience today, and we have very high expectations on the recommendation. So I would like to begin with my thanks to Dr. Mishra and Dr. Varun Nepal that they have chosen our department, this state, for this consultation. And Vice Chancellor just mentioned about as to what are the existing scenarios for the state department. I believe that policies, institutions and markets, this is very common acronym for the CGIAR people. So these three would drive at a very meaningful outcome. So policies, of course, we to some extent we facilitate, we decide. The institutions, of course, the other stakeholders are there. Everyone, all actors in the value chain would matter, whether it is the farmer, it is the farmer collectives now, the FPOs or the women's self-help groups. They are increasingly becoming important in the entire value chain scenarios, and that's our mandate as well. And of course, the civil society organizations, the facilitating agencies, the NGO partners, everyone. And then of course markets, the invisible hand is always there, but then we can drive something good for a meaningful outcome there. So the policies, institutions and markets. We are very conscious about our policy design. Dr. Mishra began with the breaking news. I thought nowadays, by the time I would communicate it to someone that our state has received the Global Excellence Award for our millets promotion, I had already started receiving congratulatory messages yesterday. I reached late in the evening. So friends, let me again tell and I am very happy to share that Odisha Millets Mission, which is a very inclusive design model, has received the best model for millets promotion, the global model for millets promotion in the international convention yesterday. And I was very fortunate to receive the award in Hyderabad last evening. So as I told, and as you would have seen, whether it is Dr. Mitra's presentation or our MOU with IFPRI, so Dr. Clemens, you will be very happy that it is not only IFPRI that we have signed an MOU. We want the agricultural transformation in our state to happen with evidences. We want to make a science-driven agricultural transformation in our state. And the evidences, the figures, the facts speak for themselves. The changes, the transformation could be seen in the field. The day before I was in a tribal district called Koraput. Koraput is the tribal heartland of not only our state, but also for the entire country. You could just see, in fact, our any evidences or value chain interventions, whether they are happening or any transformation happening or not, you could just take Koraput as a very, glaring example. Perhaps I don't know districts in this state and also to the neighboring state. But then, what is the price realization to the primary producer? For example, it's a very classic example. My official colleagues from the cooperation department also are here from the Agriculture Marketing Board. Our public sector interventions are making any price realization better to the farmers? I do not know. But then to build efficiency, any intervention in the agri value chain should lead into an efficient production system and also bring more price realization. As the secretary of this department, my mandate is to raise the farmers' income. Farmers' welfare, of course, that's the mandate of any welfare-based government. So that's obviously there in the constitutional principles. But me and all my colleagues who are working for this department, we literally wish that the price realization is more. The income or profit for a farmer, and in my state, in our state, 93% of our farming community, they are small and marginal farmers. So any intervention that we make is also going to help a poor household. That's how we design. And of course, because we talked about millets, Odisha is not a very huge producer of millets, because in millets as well you have the caste system. And those of you who come outside of the state, in the caste meaning, there are few who would literally take that attention. For example, the pearl millet and the sorghum, I would consider them to be the upper caste in the millet caste system. But in our state, we take care of the humble or the marginalized or the orphan group within that particular grouping. So we have the little millets, we have the foxtail millet or the finger millet. And when you superimpose your the rain-fed map with that of the poverty map of our state, and for that matter any other state, they almost would coincide, meaning thereby the millet farmers are the most marginalized, and in our case they are tribals. Every fourth person in our state is a tribal person. 22.7% of our state's population as per the 2011 census, he or she is a tribal. So our interventions are very inclusive in design. So that's what I want to tell you, that it could be any actor in the value chain, but for me the primary producer is literally the key individual or the key personality there. So we would be very happy because the title of this workshop, the consultation workshop, is not only finding out the challenges, which are all the elephants in the room, we all know it, but then we want it in a structured fashion. We will be very happy to take note, but then we want to also know the opportunities. What are the opportunities that could enhance the value chain to get more price realization to the farmer to reach his or her income, and then in the process the state GSDP, the agri GDP also goes up. This would be my very apt message at this stage. And of course the value chain of the commodities, one commodity to the other will vary. You are all researchers, you know it better, and I would like to tell to my team here that how do we kind of design the interventions for one commodity value chain has to be different to the other. All models, all tools may not be kind of applying there. However, the digital agriculture tools might be similar for monitoring and on the market intelligence and the stuff like that. So, and on the institutional and policy, you are all researchers, you can bring, we would be very happy it comes from Kenya, Ethiopia, Egypt, USA, and that could work in our system. We would welcome all of them. And of course, I have interest in the policy research, and I would be happy that you recommend Polytechnic Shakti groups in our state. We leverage the strengths of the women self-help groups in our state, and of course the civil society organizations, the NGO partners are also increasingly playing a very big role in this case. Mr. Jagdanand is here from the CYST. We have the agri production clusters in our state, which kind of we take all the high value agri or horti value chains, production systems in clusters. Just you know the region, we want to offset the scale disadvantage. We also want to collectivize the farmers for a better bargaining strength in the entire value chain, and they are all playing very good results there. And let me also inform this audience that we are conscious about the storage and the shelf life and enhancing the value for the off-season vegetables. So, and our experiments with the bigger cold storages did not succeed. We have not been, we have relatively been less successful with that. So we are now planning to go for small, decentralized, solar-based cold rooms, 10 to 15 metric tons. This time I have set a target for 1,000 in the entire state. In fact, the day before I was in Koraput, and the district collector and the officials were telling that they have a modest target of 51 for this year. For this fiscal, for that particular district, they now want to double it. Meaning thereby there is a demand for the smaller units of cold storages in our state. And of course, expanding the agri-food value chain, they also create huge opportunity for the greater inclusion of rural people in terms of processing or transport, and retail Barun's presentation and Arkitman's presentation also dealt on that. So we would like to know more about that. And of course, while we talk about the value chain, we want to improve the performance of the agri value chains, and how do we benefit the smallholder farmer, the low income and the poor people would be our major agenda there. And of course, I must tell you that in the process, we must build competitiveness of the selected value chains that we do. I spoke about the millets value chain. Because of the constraint of time, I'm not expanding. But then we have seen as to how by making very small interventions in the primary processing and some kind of public sector support for the secondary processing adds value. I can take you the example of ginger and turmeric in Koraput, not in Kandhamal. Kandhamal, it's already happening. we just made a smaller intervention of solar drying of the ginger. And last season, the ginger prices literally skyrocketed because of so many other regions. The production clusters failed in other states, and my farmers in the state, they benefited to the maximum. So just by a smaller intervention of some value addition enhances the value and brings more money to the farm household. So these are all my thoughts at this stage, and of course we'll be happy to partner with any of you, including the IFPRI. I have requested your director that we have a cell to advise me and my team, because we want to go evidence driven, we want to go science driven, we want to go with some kind of best practices happening elsewhere in the globe, in the planet. And in the entire process, Professor Rahul mentioned that we had the food security. Of course, the themes and the priorities of the policy space change from time to time. 60s, no policy advisor would ever tell that you go for all this stuff, because that time our food security requirement was the prime requirement. Then now we have become almost self-sufficient except for the oil seeds or the edible oils. Same is the story of Odisha. We have a very decent food grains production. We had the record food grains production of 13.06 million tons last year, and we are the fourth largest contributor of rice to the FCI pool. We are rice surplus for the last 17 or 18 years. The grains of rice from Odisha is fed to 12 different states of our country. There are 28 states in our country. Interventions, we have gone mission mode. We have the mission for millets, for the spices, floriculture, mushroom, jackfruit, and now we are going into for coffee. So this is all so that we have our focused attention, and not only the production and productivity goes up, inherently by design we want the value chain also to develop, so that the markets take care, the private sector participation is there alongside, so that when we withdraw, the markets take over and it becomes sustainable. So that way we are going, we will be happy to take the support of all the research institutions. The OUAT has been a pillar of strength to us, being the only state agriculture university. So we count on their support. That's how I wish to thank the Vice Chancellor, Professor Mishra, and the entire team for this particular workshop. So we have very high expectations. So I look forward, at least as an output of this workshop, a good volume of your recommendations. There could be few doables, there may not be immediate doables, but we'd be happy to take your ideas so that we go to transform to that level soon. In the entire process, we want the digital agriculture, the technology usage to be there in the entire framework, and we'll be happy to take that. So I once again thank each one of you. I welcome all of you, those who have come for the first time to this building. This building got the best architecturally designed office building by the Zim magazine. That's a very famous architectural magazine published from London. So this is perhaps, I claim so, being the one time sitting in this particular beautiful building. This is perhaps the best architecturally designed government building in this particular city. Okay? Welcome everyone. Thank you.
Without the felicitation program. So now I would like to request our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sir, Professor P.K. Rao, sir. May I also request a big round of applause. May I now request Dr. Arvind Kumar. Now, I would like a big round of applause, please. Dr. Clemens Versinger, sir, Dr. Barun Devpal, an inspiring and leading the way forward for an amazing day to follow and come up with some good ideas and solutions to the challenges and the opportunities thereof. So this marks in New Delhi in 2001. Since then, his primary focus has been on research related to development economics and the monitoring and evaluation of key government schemes in India. Throughout his career, Dr. Reddy has worked with various premier organizations, including publication record with over 100 research articles and a total Google Scholar citation count of 2,700. His H index is 29 and he has an I-10 index of 78. Dr. Reddy is also a fellow of the Indian Society of Pulses Research and Development in Kanpur, where he has also received a recognition award. He is actively involved in high-level committees, participating in the evaluation projects for organizations like JBIC, THPC, KVIC, NRD and PR, NABARD, the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers' Welfare, and the erstwhile Planning Commission, now known as the Niti Aayog. Sir, we are extremely glad to have you with us. A big round of applause for Dr. A. Amarendra Reddy. In session, we have our Ms. Abhishweta Nandi, Mr. M. Udayanidhi, and Mr. Subrajyoti, and they will be guided by Dr. Kitish Kumar Sarangi, sir. So there is a housekeeping announcement right now, and also for the rapporteurs and the moderator. Each speaker will be given a time limit of 10 minutes, and after 7 minutes, we'll have a warning signal, a flag shown up to the moderator, showing the sign 3. And then when the time's up, there will be a flag showing the time 0. That means you have no time left. So we request all our speakers to adhere to the time so that we maintain the current schedule of the meeting. We have Dr. Sarvanayan Mishra, sir, Professor and Head, Department of Agricultural Economics, Odisha University of Agriculture and Technology. We have Mr. Jagadan IOFS, Director, Agricultural Marketing, Member Secretary, OSAP.
Good morning to all of you. On the path, how we can go about and how we can go about what are the key drivers and challenges. They give a very good direction for us. We are having agricultural value chains. How you can improve the value chains. So the key issues we can discuss. Probably already rules are 10 minutes. Every speaker has to speak. Mainly key problems what we are facing, key drivers and challenges, and policies and issues. Sir, I request Dr. Prem Chandra Chaudhary, IAS,
my presentation. So, though I am not presenting, my presentation was scheduled at the last fag of this session, but I requested because I have to attend few more meetings. So that's how I have requested if it could be advanced. Thank you for consideration. As a MD Epicol, I have been told to throw challenges what agri-entrepreneurs are facing. So I would be limiting to discussing about one important scheme of the government, that is Mukhyamantri Krishi Udyog Yojana, that is basically meant for the agri and allied sector entrepreneurship development. So around 90 plus activities we have identified in agriculture sector, fishery sector, animal husbandry sector, and that is being targeted currently. This scheme was started in 2018, and initially we had lot of glitches, issues, and I think last year we have crossed that transition phase, and with lot of modifications now this scheme is running very well. So some of the key issues I would like to inform to the audience how this is currently modified and how it is working and serving the purpose. So first thing, this scheme is meant for the individuals, groups, companies, any kind of entity working in the Odisha. They can apply for it and take 40 or 50% subsidy as per their category. Earlier this subsidy was meant, it was released back end. Means when project was completed, the verification has been done by the officials, the all clearances comes, and then we used to release this subsidy to the bank account of the beneficiaries. We analyzed and we find that during this fund sanction phase, loan period, they are losing. We analyze on kind of some 50 lakh base rate. In case somebody is taking 50 lakh bank loan, bank sanction, then within 2.5 years by which they are completing the project, they used to pay additional around 15 lakh as a interest. So we discussed this issue, we got feedback from the beneficiaries, and now we have decided that this subsidy will be released front end. We have got the government approval and now it is live, and we are now releasing the subsidy to their mirror accounts front end. With the sanction of the project, we release this amount to the banks, and banks are adjusting this amount to calculate their EMIs. Now suppose you are taking 50 lakh loan and the subsidy is 25 lakh, then your EMI will be calculated on 25 lakhs. Government will upfront pay the 25 lakh. So this is a big relief to the beneficiaries. One thing, the entire process we have digitized. There is a Go Sugam portal, all of their project is where pending and till since what time it is pending at which level, and now we have integrated the payment gateway also with the Go Sugam. So now it is into automated process, and any applicant find out their project details, status online itself. Capital investment subsidy, which was earlier limited to 50 lakh, this year government has made it to 1 crore. We got lot of requests that in some cases the subsidy is not sufficient and entrepreneurs are facing issues. Then government had decided that we will increase it to up to 1 crore. How much time, after how many years they can be again eligible to get subsidies, because in an industry sector, in other many sectors, after few years you again become eligible. So that clarity was not there. So we have already got the government approval that after 10 years any family, because family is a unit here, any family is eligible to apply for MKOI subsidy. We have also tried to identify beneficiary across potential applicants, potential agri-entrepreneurs across the state, and almost 45,000 such potential agri-entrepreneurs we have identified. We made their list, collected their lot of other information, and we are trying to reach out to them, so that, because at the field level they are facing a lot of issues. Even though they want to go to the fishery sector, they don't know how to go about it. How I will make a DPR, how I will approach to the bank. Though every DPR, customizable DPR is available in the portal, but then also it's very difficult. If many of you must have interacted such entrepreneurs and beneficiaries. So what we did, we collected such potential entrepreneur ka details, and then we are reaching through our Kisan KSK, Krishi Samiksha Kendra, our live call center. We have done a lot of meetings at the district level, along with all stakeholders, including banks also. So this is one thing we are targeting. And with all these efforts, last year we could able to release 80 crore rupees as a subsidy amount, though it was a back-end subsidy. Earlier, prior to last year, it was around not more than 24-25 crore in a year, but within a single year we crossed 80 crore initiatives. We are very hopeful, and we have also, they are traveling to the districts, they have presence. So I think this is a very just good. Before this coming to this meeting, we were having a discussion with the bankers, state coordinators of all banks, and that was a discussion. So we are trying to follow up and create this agri-entrepreneurship across the state. One more thing I would like to say, why this is very important and how Odisha is placed with lot of potential under this sector. Almost all kind of crops can be grown in our state. You must be hearing a lot of things under vegetables, potato in the Kharif season, then these lot of new fruit crops our state has started growing, fishery sector, then animal husbandry sector, water resources. We have lot of potential, but when it comes to processing, value addition, our achievement as of now not very good. When it comes to skilling in this, I'll completing. I was thinking I have more time, but fine. So what I am trying to say, we have lot of potential in this sector. Skilling we are doing in lot of other sectors, but those skillings are creating job opportunity far from their native places, and most of the time those issues are creating problem. Suppose these stitching trainings and then this hotel management training, our boys and girls are going far from this place and getting only maybe 10,000, 15,000, and initial days are very complicated. And
I think probably you may have to leave. Probably any questions? I'm happy.
So maybe 2 or 3 type of enterprises generally few people take. Another 3-4 type of enterprises is taken by some corporate or something.
Given this target to identify such entrepreneurs, and they are supposed to send back. Show, please. Show. If there is no question, thank you so much. I would say Mukhyamantri Krishi Udyog Yojana is definitely, I am not saying because I am sitting in that chair, but it's actually a very good scheme, and it is being like demanded across the state very much now. So if any feedback or any problem you are facing or you are getting anything, we would like to listen and address them. Thank you so much.
Work on these issues. So this is obviously one question in the mind of all the esteemed audience. Actually, he has been with us in our team on behalf of the Agricultural Consultancy Support Service Cell, and because he was also there and the adjunct professor. So our team is with him with all the supports, and recently the team prepared all these things. So before going into details, to give the detailed deliberations on the status and drivers of agricultural transformation in Odisha. Professor Ashok.
Thank Professor Mishra and IFPRI for giving me this wonderful opportunity. Concise to 10 minutes. The scheme of presentation is status of agri-food system in Odisha. Why and how agri-food transformation in Odisha. So first of all, the status of agri-food system in Odisha. Already there is a fact sheet in your this brochure. Brochure is already supplied. It is more or less same, and it is mainly for the benefit of participants from outside Odisha. So here, Odisha is the 9th largest state in India with 4.7% area and 3.47% of population of the country. So it has got a population of 45 million, 80% lives in rural areas, around 30% are below poverty line. And Odisha has 10 agroclimatic zones, 480 kilometers long coastal line, and abundant water resources. And coming to water resources, rainfall, the average rainfall is 4,450 millimeter, and it's more or less in the average, except for 14 to 16, there is some shortage. And irrigation potential, it is prone to natural calamities. In the 2010 to 2022, almost every year there has been a natural calamity in Odisha. And coming to the gross state value added, agriculture and manufacturing or industry are the major sector of the economy, both contributing roughly 22% of the gross state value added. And performance of agriculture, the temporal view if you took, whereas the dark blue line is India and light blue is Odisha, and Odisha is following a cyclical pattern, whereas in the India it is more or less flat or stable. Then structure of farm holdings in Odisha, 48.7 lakh farm holdings are there, and 93% are small and marginal farmers having less than 2 hectares. They own roughly 75% of the area of the state. Then coming to land use pattern, 35% of the geographical area is under cultivation, and it has got 150 the cropping intensity. That means 50% of the area is cultivated more than once. Then percentage of area under different crop transformation of agriculture. Then trends in area under different crop groups. If you see, there is not much change in the structure of the crops grown in the state. Then livestock and poultry sector. Odisha is 3.4% of India's total livestock population and 3.2% in poultry. It ranks 10th in cattle and poultry population and 9th in terms of goat and sheep population. And this is the trend in the production of meat, egg and milk. Slowly, we can see here, milk and these animal products are increasing gradually over years. Then fishery sector also increasing gradually in the last 4 years production, and it is the 4th largest fish producing country in the state. And coming to the sources of fish catches, unlike in many other states, here the freshwater fishes constitute the major share in the fish production. And export also, considerable export of fish, because this is also very good. We need to consider while we talk about agriculture transformation. So export also increasing gradually. Then why and how agri-food transformation? This is an important, because in the morning Vice Chancellor was telling about earlier we concentrated on productivity, then so definition of agri-food transformation give the answer to this question. So to address growing challenges related to hunger and malnutrition, rural poverty and environmental changes. Also CGIAR says this is essential to support equitable access to sustainable healthy diets, improve farmer livelihoods and resilience, and conserve land, air and groundwater resources. So these are all the major why we need be going for this AFS agri-food transformation. So further, if you see the various actions and activities actors are involved in system transformation. So we have here in this, here it is consumer, and the consumer is in the food environment, and which is the larger food systems actors and activities which are linked to production drivers, distribution or trade drivers and consumption drivers. So this will have indirect loops with the, we are going for AFS, Agri-Food System Transformation. Now AFS transformation involves synchronized actions in developing required policy support, strengthening institutions, improving infrastructure, identifying priority areas for investment, linking farmers with markets, and developing commodity value chains. This will be done, various actors are involved in this process: farmers, producers, government departments, service providers, input sector, agri-processors and civil society, value of goods and services produced in agriculture. After that, what happens? That is getting more and more prominence now. Then drivers of agrifood. So here, Odisha, it is 10.9 in percentage terms in our, whereas it is 9.4% in India. So that means purchasing power of consumers. Population growth translates into high demand for food, especially high value food products. Then agriculture and allied sectors growth, it is also higher than India over years. Over years, it is performance of agriculture sector. This share of agriculture and allied sectors is, you can see, crops shows mixed trend, whereas livestock and fishery gradually increasing within the agricultural crop, livestock and fishing. Then coming to scale of agriculture and agriculture diversity is another important driver of AFS. Here, sheer size of agriculture, 54 lakh hectares, it is more than the area of many European countries, and which accounting 35% of the total geographical area under cultivation. Production system drives the agriculture. Then Odisha government initiatives need to enable AFS transformation. Already our secretary was telling many programs, which is also a catalyst for AFS transformation. There is a vibrant policy environment in the area is under rise. So how to shift to this, that is a very important challenge. Market linkages, another important challenge. Agro-processing, much what I want to tell you.
In India, other neighboring states also. So they are the problem. And also, in addition to the yields, value addition. Value addition is also not there, as today's morning presentation. Still, paddy is dominating, as you are telling. But historically, if you see, the pulses area increasing, 1970s to even now, some double area increased. So this is the background of this crop diversification and all these things.
And peoples are not adopting different cultivation in the Rabi season because of lack of irrigation and also upon grazing, some wild animal attacks. Different factors are there. That's why people are not doing pulses varieties, oilseed varieties in the Rabi season. If there is any, we will adopt any kind of strategy in the government forum, then that will be helpful to the people.
Important thing, many states they follow pulses, rice fallow pulses. Nowadays they are also diversifying to cotton, maize and other crops. But the question is, 50% of the cropped area is under rice. But some areas where you don't have any drainage facilities, water clogging, etc., you have no other option except to go for paddy cultivation. But there could be other areas where you have good drainage and other facilities, where we can think of diversifying into other crops.
Any question?
So you go to any KBK or anything, we say that we are promoting every crop. So now in the whole process what has happened, we are trying to produce every crop in a smaller quantities. So rather than doing that approach, why not we take an approach where you take cluster or some crops where you develop a very strong value chain, maybe 5 or 6 crops or 7 crops, like say maize or say ginger or something, and concentrate on that crop and become nationally and internationally competitive, so that you can like fisheries, exporting on 1 or 2 commodities only. Like that, rather than doing hundreds of crops in every place, you zone it in the zone wise and focus on 1 or 2 crops and all few value chains, so that you become nationally and internationally competitive.
Any other? Yes, please.
I do agree that we are rice dominated state, but what drags us to there is assurance of market. So as there is an assured market and return, so in shape of MSP, so everyone is attracted. So what is important is assurance of market. And just one more point, in challenges, the most significant challenge is access
going
to
into irrigation, even if it is surface irrigation. What will be the implication of that in terms of crop diversity?
But what we can do is In Tamil Nadu, it is more than 70 to 80% is groundwater irrigation, where this cheap electricity as well as high investment, subsidized credit has gone the over exploitation of many wells. So regulation is very, very important. Giving, encouraging private investment through subsidized credit and other things could be done, but it should be in a very regulated way. And regarding the electricity, many times it is a political decision. Sometimes it with the risk of efficiency and over exploitation.
In a cluster mode. So we can take the example of the potato by International Potato Center. So the small farmer large field approach, they have experimented in some part of the state, particularly kharif potato. So it has larger potential and they are doing in a very novel way. So for our esteemed delegates from abroad, we are planning to interact with all of you, sir, tomorrow. So that is one part. My point is that still we have a lot of scope. Non-ragi minor millets, because you know in Odisha only procurement is done on the ragi. So we have already given our recommendation, and maybe that will be declared by Government of Odisha to facilitate the buying back of millets. And also there are a lot of opportunities because Principal Secretary is the brand ambassador, you can say, that promoting millets even in the in our plates also, in our consumption in changing the consumption pattern also, the Government of Odisha is doing in a big way. So in that respect we can say that because there under farmer producers organization there have been so many schemes, and now the department and everybody is working under Agrifood system. So in near future we can have all these.
Share some of my experience from the farmer's end. I don't know how much faithful I can be to represent a farmer, but I'll be very honest in sharing some of the problems which we have seen by working with farmers and farming community in a very substantive way, right? The previous presentation has thrown some very wonderful light, the backdrop of Odisha, that is about 93% of the community is small and marginal farmers. You know, that is a very critical point actually. So my community, I have very small land holdings and very small, tiny land holdings. With that I survive, and I would like to thrive also with that land holding. So as a small and marginal farmer, which is the bedrock of the farming community in Odisha, both climate vulnerability, land fragmentation, water moisture management, distress sale of all my products, right? Except few, all my products are distress sale actually. And then debt burden and insufficient storage facilities really compound my problem actually. That is the background. So I have 6 points, sir, and I will go very pointed within 10 minutes, right? So the first, and if this is the backdrop, I think in Odisha, one very interesting thing which is happening right now, there are 200 plus NGOs who are working as facilitating agencies to do a kind of social mobilization which is necessary with the farm and the farming community. And what is social mobilization? When I'm alone as a farmer, I am vulnerable. When I'm part of a productive group, I'm part of a team, I feel safe and secure. So if that is the case, then somebody must work to collectivize me and work with me actually. And that is social mobilization. This social mobilization theory, which has worked in other programs, is working. You need a facilitating support system. And currently, the state government is really providing a very interesting facilitating support system with all the various parameters around which this social mobilization takes place. So that's a good sign. The second point I would like to say, if we are collectivizing producers' collectives, cluster collectives, farmer producer organizations, SHGs, self-help group federations, these bunch of institutions. And Professor has brought out there are almost FPO alone is 6,000 plus. And there are, when I add the others, it will be a very big number actually. But the problem there is, in the value addition front, everyone is doing the whole cycle of value addition. And they are competing with each other. That's not right actually, right? So therefore, we did a very clear policy. Which are the FPOs who should get into primary processing? Which are the FPOs who should get into secondary processing, branding, marketing? Everybody is doing everything actually. So therefore, there is a lot of time which is wasted, lot of time which is spent in competing with each other. And this is a very serious problem. We need a very clear policy articulation by the government in grading various FPOs, various producers' collectives to design and decipher who can do what and how do we really map them and how do we really create a structure around that. That is the second point. Producing something. When my cheap food is available, I can do some other things actually. So therefore, except millet, which is consumption oriented, I think we have to really think of how do we really redesign our food system into nutrition sensitive agriculture and for small scale storage through farmer producer organizations. We don't need big storage, and today, especially for organic products also, there can be some priority given for organic products. Gautam is here from Selco, right? That we have tried with them very small storage facilities with something, and I'm sure these are all pointers actually. It has a possibility for large scale replication across the state. Be left behind. How do you deal with farmers who have no land? Land is a major issue right now. It's not an issue which has been dealt actually in this country. I can very proudly say that I was part of a very high-end committee of the Government of India on the unfinished task of land and land-related issues, set up under the chairmanship of the Prime Minister. And when we submitted our report, and when we were working on the report, it was an amazing exercise to understand what are the areas where land and land issues have remained unaddressed actually. So landless, we have tried community farming in some way, and community farming is a potential possibilities for landless farmers to come together. Those who are part of the farm labor system can become real farmers actually. And my two other points, and I will close, sir, right? The other point involved in the strategic research and extension plan, right, through a cluster program in limited clusters. I think this planning has to move from a cluster program in few villages to all possible villages where farming communities exist. That has to be done in a big way. Today in every village, as part of the Gram Panchayat development plan, the village has to develop a plan. In our Odisha state, we are developing village disaster mitigation plans by the revenue department. The tribal development department is doing integrated village development plan. In all this I am involved, right? We are involved. And then as LSDG, localizing sustainable development goals, panchayats are also developing. Where is agriculture in this plan? How do we really bring agriculture in a big way in this plan? Integrate that so that institutional arrangement of credit actually. I'm very happy that we have a plethora of primary agriculture cooperative societies which were created to meet the need of the farm community. I was introduced as the State Information Commissioner. During my entire tenure, I was handling that department. Every time there is a right to information question asked about a PAX, either the PAX secretary will disappear or he will take leave under the pretext that he is medically ill actually. That means he is not willing to face the wrath of disclosure, transparency and all that. So I have seen, how these PACs, which is such a beautiful institution, from Kharif loan to Rabi loan to Kharif loan, that recycling goes on and on and on. I think it's time to really do a heavy reform agenda, bring a reform agenda, so that these beautiful institutions can function well. And the skilling landscape, the skilling is, you skill a rural boy, even from a farming community, to become a swing master and go to Tirupur to do some work there, right? And you know what is the price? They get about 7,000 rupees or so. During COVID, we tried that. We tried it with agri skills, with agri opportunities, and the return was much more than 7,000 rupees. So that means we need to really turn around the agri green skilling, what you call environment, and that framework in favor of agriculture, so that all the skills, and I have calculated, there are not less than 32 skills I could calculate actually, which can be all done in the rural areas, so we don't help people for either distress migration or for migration for nothing, right? But for, they can stay in their in situ and do something. So these are...
Respected dignitaries on the dais and all the participants from foreign countries, all the delegates of associated of the stakeholders present in the audience. It is indeed a privilege for me to present the government's perspective on agricultural marketing in Odisha in front of this august gathering. In this consultation meeting on the agri-food value chain in Odisha. Myself, Prabhu Kalyan Patnaik, Director Agricultural Marketing, cum Member Secretary Osam Board, will be presenting the initiatives taken Produce Marketing Act 1956 and the rules 1958. The agricultural marketing sector in the state came into existence in a structured form in 1956 and now it is functioning as a separate directorate under the Ministry of Cooperation, that is Directorate of Agricultural Marketing. Under this directorate, under this ministry, we have a board called Osam Board, that is Odisha State Agricultural Marketing Board. Under the board, we have established 66 regulated market committees, which has 415 market yards and 43 Kusak Bazars across the state. And this, we have did some reforms in Odisha agricultural marketing sector. We have introduced the unified licensing system through which any trader who wants to participate in the electronic trading can be given a unified license. Means the license can be issued to the trader from any of the RMCs. The chairman of he can issue license to any of the trader and he can trade anywhere in the state. And we have a single point levy of market fee. This both these schemes were introduced in 2017 actually under the Odisha State Agricultural Produce Markets Amendment Act. So he has to, any trader, he has to give only a single fee. The market infrastructure which Osam Board has been trying to give in the regulated marketing committees are enlisted in this slide. We have and 3 wholesale markets. Again, we are going for 128 multi-purpose godowns at packs and labs. We have provided, we have facilitated rather weighing bridge of 185 numbers and weighing scale of 11,659 numbers. Then this information technology integration, as all of you know, that any system needs to be transparent and it should be in a systematic manner. For that, the Government of India initiative has been done in the form of National Agricultural Market, that is ENAM, Electronic National Agricultural Market. That Government of Odisha has also adopted that, and all the 66 RMCs have been integrated in a phased manner through ENAM. We have started the job in 2017 March and completed. Osam Board through RMC has implemented and is in the process of implementing something also. There is a millet processing unit at Ambapur under RMC Digapandi in Ganjam district. These are functional units. Cotton ginning and pressing mill at Digapandi, and we are planning for cotton ginning and pressing mill at Kalabada and under RMC Digapandi, and green gram processing unit currently functioning under the Sonpur municipality proposed to be shifted under RMC Dungripalli in Sonpur district. We have a mango processing and ice cream unit at Kalapathar run by women self-help groups under the RMC Dungripalli, and a chili powder and turmeric powder processing unit made functional at Usumi under RMC Kuchinda involving the women self-help groups. We are proposing a purified rice units to be established at Bhojpur and Jarbajar under RMC Kuchinda involving the women self-help groups. We have turmeric processing units presently working at Raikia and Daringibadi under Tikkivali RMC in Kandhamal district. For providing the quality assurance services, we have assaying OSAM board through RMCs has provided assaying labs. Set up assaying labs in 66 RMCs. We have provided 3 numbers of artificial intelligence based grain analyzers recently, which have been installed in Junagadh, Patnagadh and Dungripalli on pilot basis. The grading equipments which RMCs are provided in the market yards have been enlisted in this slide. We have provided analysis kits, moisture meters, mini grader.
Can be addressed together. So that's why I kept. And most importantly, both covered these FPOs as well as enamels. So I want some suggestions or opinion from the house that how we can improve. There are still some problems because most of the FPOs they are not scaling up as both mentioned.
Yes.
So any suggestions?
Done by the speakers, but I have some suggestions because only by procuring raw produce from the agriculture and allied products, we can get the enhance the farmers' income in large scale. So we have to focus on the procurement of value-added products, and we have to focus on the how the value can be added to the products, and it needs a focus, a stress in policy space, because in our department we focus on the production part. In cooperation we focus marketing of the raw produce, but some gap is found there. There is nobody's lead is there where focus is given on high value products. So responsibility, the accountability should be trusted to any department who can give a coordinate and give importance on the value added products. So it needs a very heavy focus and stress on policy space. And we should also involve the civil societies and the private players. And by involving, we should not leave the interest of farmers. These things should be, if we widely concentrate, then a farmer gets good income. Thank you.
This has to be taken by government.
Important area you have added.
Accountability is very, very important, right? Please.
Cash crops majorly in the vegetables, perishable vegetables. But the rate of perishable vegetables are volatile always, in every time.
Productive session. And before we go for the closing of this technical session 1, I would request Dr. Sarvanayan Mishra sir to felicitate our moderator and the invited speakers for the technical session 1. A big round of applause, please. IFPRI's MAFAP program in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia from 2015 to 17. He holds a PhD in Development Economics from the Department Government of Odisha. Mr. Chandramani Sahu, Cluster Coordinator, Mayurbhanj, Odisha. We have with us Mr. Debjyoti Datta, PRB Superfood Private Limited, Khordha. Mr. Rohit Kumar Lenka, IFS, Director, Directorate of Horticulture, DA and FE, Government of Odisha. Mr. Leonard Kirui and Dr. Mohinder Kadian, Senior Manager. And Dr. Kadian is an agronomist at International Potato Center. We welcome all the speakers and kindly invite them.
All right, I think we can get started. So we're going to try and I'm going to challenge our speakers. We want to identify some of the challenges in these agri-food system value chains. What are some of the lessons learned from our work as government representatives or people working in civil society or private, or priorities that tracking agricultural transformation. So this session obviously is focused on horticulture. And so without any further ado, I'm going to first hand over to Ms. I don't think it is Mr. Chandramani Sahu.
We are working with small marginal farmers, and the issues we are facing there, as per the issues, we have defined different strategies and we are working with the people. If you see the selection criteria of that area, then the major point of us is the north part of Odisha is purely populated by the tribal population. Most of the 60% population are tribal, and they are marginal, and their primary income depends on agriculture. And they are also resource base is there, human resources there, and primarily there is land and water is there, and the land holding is around 1 acre per household. If you see to select that area, the actual context is we are purely working on the commercial vegetable farming with the small marginal household, how they will enhance their household income. In that area, there is opportunity is huge, but 5% of the households are only doing commercial vegetable farming as per the baseline data in these two districts, Keonjhar and Mayurbhanj districts. And annual rainfall is very good there, and we have the opportunity to work there in that area. If you see the baseline area of that area, more than 80% households are below 40,000 annual income. That is including labor. Including labor income, that is less than 40,000, and the very less. If you see the, and also irrigation command and farming is 14%. Though there is availability of water in rivers and streams, but the facility is only 14%. That is the baseline of the data of Mayurbhanj and Keonjhar district. And they are also very far from access to different mainstream services like existing value chain network in that area. That is the existing farm machinery market. But if you think link in different parts of our present intervention, if you see, working with 30,000 households, tribal households within these 4 blocks. And our best achievement is we have adopted, we will discuss in detail, we have adopted and constructed 10 commercial vegetable nurseries. That is the proven irreversible model. Farmers are paying the selling cost and purchasing from the nursery entrepreneur to doing different commercial vegetable farming. Major crops are tomato, brinjal, chili, watermelon. These are the major crops. And drip farming system with the small farming, all the input cost of their farming, all the input cost, including seedling, including fertilizer, including irrigation cost, all the farmers are paying for it. Only we are contributing to our farmers in establishment of different fixed assets. And here in that area, CINI is only working as the promoting agency to supporting our household participant households. CINI is linking with the different corporates, different banks and government schemes to how the farmer will get that benefit. Approach, in village approach, in hamlet approach, we are doing that as per sharing of Jagarananda sir before the last session. In the and we also, if you see, as of April to October, we have marketed, and the revenue our farmers have earned 65.2 lakhs within last 7 months. But if we include this month, then 1 crore 28 lakhs farmer had earned from their small pockets of land who are doing commercial vegetable farming. that is excluding cereal cultivation. Commercial vegetable nurserying, we are promoting different women entrepreneurs and women farmers who will supply seedling to the catchment women farmers. And we have already 10 units in 2 districts of 4 blocks. And per annum, our entrepreneurs are selling near about more than 50 lakhs of seedling to the catchment farmers. They are paying for the seedling and they are purchasing it from the nursery entrepreneurs and doing commercial vegetable in their own field.
I hope you're close to wrapping up. We are out of time.
Thank you. We are working in 3 stages: pre-production stage, production stage, and also in the post-production stage. In pre-production stage, we are adopting different technologies in farm machineries, use of in promotion of drip farming, and supply of soilless seedling, and also resource-based planning. In production stage, we are doing.
And we're going to go straight on to the next presentation, because I'm sure there'll be some important linkages across the wrong. He's from PRB Superfood, so his perspective, a private sector perspective on horticulture value chains in Odisha.
In 2020 during COVID period, we take the challenge of the cold chain. Actually in my state, cold storage became a loss-making business. I am going to address that one. First I took care, we used to go over cold storage in 2020, and we found that it is a very good business if we can make it out. First, I'm just focusing the yellow part of the thing, yellow highlighted person, where we are, and what our forward path and what we can integrate. And we will forward with a large towards the integrated pack house process cold chain units. So now we are here, we are making a ripening chamber and out of state. Actually, around the clock, we are not able to get the G9 banana from our state because of the earlier addressed that cluster is not made, and where we can collect the banana around the years and we can cater to our buyer like Reliance, Big Basket and other women. So we used to take it from nearby states like Andhra Pradesh and from also Maharashtra. And because the constant supply chain make a business here. So next, it is a report of our details where we are today. We are just increasing at par with our government priority data. This is focused. We are benchmarking against any product. This is a data. National and state level scheme. All the schemes are almost there. Government has addressed all this scheme, but actually in ground level, we have to support. And we have a facility. Our center is located in such a location which is very close to highway and export oriented. We are interested for all sorts of collaboration with the farmers and interested partners. So we have a call for the collaboration here. Quickly, that's all. Almost all are here. Farmer integration and integration of cold chains. As earlier speaker says that some district and block level cold chambers will be made. That can be integrated with a dashboard to the main facility center, and from main facility center we can export it. So that's all. I don't have much to say.
Marketing strategies, or from the Cooperation Department, Government of Odisha, and so she's going to be talking about marketing strategies of horticulture products in Odisha. Thank you.
Strategy of horticultural products, marketing of horticultural products inside the state. Actually, I am representing here Cooperation Department, also Odisha State Agricultural Marketing Board. I am working as General Manager in Odisha State Agricultural Marketing Board. Here we are aiming to transforming agri-marketing through effectively operationalizing regulated market committee. Inside the state, we have 66 regulatory marketing committee. And through regulatory RMCs, we are marketing our agricultural produce inside the state. So empowerment of farmers through supply chain management is now the focus, because there is, for years together, always there is, in the peak season of horticultural produce, there is a gap between marketing and production, always. Though production and marketing both are complementary to each other, but always there is a hue and cry that there is distress sale. For that, now Government of Odisha through OSAM board at implementing supply chain management. And for this, I will not go through stress in marketing of agricultural and horticultural produce. So through 66 RMCs and 34 Krushak Bazars and 76 municipal markets, where we have involved more than 800 FUs and SHGs, we are going for marketing. And for this purpose, why there is a need of supply chain management? Because there is 10%, total 10% of the produce is coming to mandis or RMCs, and other 90% it is being marketed from farm gate. And so the farmers are not getting the actual price or remunerative price what they deserve. For that, we are trying to bring them for a sale, so that they can market their produce and get the remunerative price. And so there is its produce in the market. If it is not being sold, then you will throw away or sell it in nominal price and go away, because there is less available facility of storage. So therefore, in supply chain management, now we are planning for integrated pack house and small cold chambers. Likewise, our Principal Secretary sir in the inaugural sessions suggested that we are going for small cold chambers, also RMC with the scheme of horticulture department. Now we are trying to establish more and more small cold chambers, like of capacity 5 MT, 10 MT or 30 MT, so that it will be handled by the women SHG or FPOs, and they will get the benefit of it. They can store their produce whenever required, and they can sell it whenever there is a high price. Whenever they will get the desirable price, they will sell it. In that way, we are going to establish some integrated pack house. For that purpose, we have Government of Odisha approved its collaboration, OSAM board collaboration of OSAM board with ICRISAT. ICRISAT is now our partner in implementing supply chain management. Basing on its successful implementation in Tamil Nadu for supply chain management, we have collaborated with it, and it's though the project is in initial stage, but it is going on, and we are in the process of redefinement of the IPH and also scoping study, so that what is the surplus available, and we will accordingly develop infrastructure and help them to market their produce. And on this process now, initially we have got 16 DPRs from different collectors regarding establishing people to managing or maintaining the IPH, and also it will help us in handholding of supply chain management from the initial, that means farmer and SHG FPO level, up to marketing, successful marketing. By this way, we will also, these are some pictures of integrated pack house, what we have now aiming to do. Again, onion storage structure also, there is some, in some parts of Odisha, there is surplus onion production. So therefore also we have planned for some onion storage structures, by which they can also get the remunerative price after stabilization. And also now for a step forward, also we are trying to infuse some professionals, agribusiness professionals in our RMCs, so as to guide them to for some innovative marketing, so that they can assess the whatever the opportunities are coming, and they can also follow if any good practices in other states. In the neighboring RMCs, we have price dissemination through 106 nodes through AgMarkNet portal, and also we are this price dissemination is being done through e-NAM portal and also through display boards. In every RMC, we have instructed, and till now in almost all RMCs, display boards have been installed, and through that the price of the commodities is being displayed, and we are trying to aware the farmers regarding the price strategy in the mandi and also in the nearby mandis.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was Directorate of Horticulture here at the department. He's going to talk about government schemes around horticulture.
I came here to listen all of you, but I'm told to speak something to you. So almost all speakers, as previous speakers were telling, since morning till now, everybody might have talked up these agricultural activities from departmental schemes being promoted to promote this agricultural activity in the states and everything, marketing and others. But then the basic questions remains as even I was sitting at the backside and listening carefully. Somebody told that even despite having all such efforts from the department, having a bunch of schemes to promote agri-food systems, in particular in perspective of the state. Decades ago, we were talking of sustainable developments. Now we are talking of value chain, supply chain. Then a decade after, we will be talking of sustainable agri-food value chain. So like this means the way of thinking goes on. But then the basic questions remains to be answered. Morning itself, I was going through The Economist, and there was one news: to save the Amazon, Lula must work out who owns it. So here lie the answers. See, if somebody is trying to protect the biggest greenery, the largest greenery on this earth, then we have to go to the basics. The basic is who owns it. If the if the government owns, then what should be the strategy? If the public owns, then what should be the strategy from the government? So on. So with this, we are focusing to some of the areas. But after 22-23, this year onwards, we are focusing majorly on 3 productive areas. Number 1, so that one is production ecosystems, how best we can give a push to the production system. Then post-production system or post-harvest management, as we told. And the third one is positioning. In other language, it's marketing. So there are the areas which otherwise were not looked holistically, are being looked in a clubbed way, so that the marginal community of the state will be empowered to strengthen themselves. Despite all these interventions from the initiative of the department, and very successfully, the state government could reach more than 8 lakh households in the state. So being based on the success of this particular initiative this year, again with the support from our Women and Child Development departments, we are targeting again the households which has lactating mothers and pregnant women. So these initiative, and that too, along with that also we are focusing on marginalized farmers who owns a farm, pond. So under this initiative, they will be provided. So these are the some schemes or interventions from the department side, so that we provide financial assistance to this focused groups, whether it is a marginalized individual farmer or it is a collective of farmers. So having said this, all this schematic support from the department, the basic question again, whether it is being owned by public, whether it is being owned by the community who resides inside the jungle, or it is being owned by the government, then accordingly, Lula, Mr. President, has to come up with a solution. So in the agriculture sector also, to have this agri-food system supply chain really working on ground, because some days back I was with the Government of India, some meetings, so their untouched geographies, they were using the term untouched geographies. So, but then this agri-food value chain, if has to really work on the ground for the poorest of poor or the marginalized sector or the collectives who are working on the ground.
A year ago, thinking there's a tremendous amount of work that you guys are doing and covering such a broad area. I think someone mentioned throughout during the morning about the paradigm shift and about the broadening broadening mandates, and specifically a Department of Agriculture, when you take on a mandate like farmer empowerment, suddenly it becomes much bigger than just supporting activities on the farm. And it's about marketing, and it's about thinking about consumers as well. And so, yeah, we're very excited to be helping your department through this work as well. Our final presentation then for the day is from our you'll be presenting, and Leonard Kirui is also here next to me on the panel today. So, Dr.
And from the SIP, the Regional Director, Dr. Samarendu Mohanty, was to be here today, but he is being awarded by the World Rice Industry tomorrow in Philippines. Very good news that a person from Odisha is being awarded that World Rice. So we must give him this. Now, I am going to talk about this, according to your title, the Stakeholders Consultation Meeting on this Challenges and Opportunities. When we talk about this is the main agroecology is about potato. Potato is the important crop. Actually, West Bengal or Odisha or some other states, it's an important vegetables, very, very important vegetables. But these are the main agroecology. If you see where potato can be grown, potato in Odisha grown in 2 seasons. The main season is the Rabi season, and in the Koraput, Kandhamala and some other districts also it is grown in Kharif also, once in the Kharif season also. Then we talk about in the highlands, this also I will go there. Now this is the where potato fits, because we have to see the constraints, the problems and how we can sort out. So it is grown in the rice, it is the sandwich, and rice is the important crop. There is no compromise. We have to see how potato can fit. Either the short duration varieties, processing varieties, how we can do it. So this is the where it has to fit. Now we can go about the background, because some of you would like to know what is the background of the potato in Odisha. When we talk about it, it is at present 15,000 hectares, but about 15-20 years it was almost double the area. Question comes why it has come down. Seed is the major constraint. Earlier also seed was coming from the hills. Now it is coming from Punjab. It's very expensive. I'll go to that also. And the decline in acreage, I mentioned you, because of the seed is the major problems. And major districts are here, Kandhamal, Puri, Balasore, and their potato is grown, where the productivity is about 12 to 14 tons per hectare. Then these are the challenges. What are the challenges to increase the area, the productivity, the quality and processing varieties? Because finally, who are the takers? Farmers. They are to be benefited. The area went down because of the 2 reasons. I mentioned one is the seed and second is the prices, marketing. This is the big farmers, they can afford like Punjab, Haryana and the North India, expensive seed. And when the market goes down, where they will go. That's why that was the another reason the area went down. How what we are to see, short window potato varieties, because in North India, winter is longer and they can have 90 days, 80 days potato. But in Odisha, it's a short winter. They have to see 70 days potato varieties. So we are to give this to the farmers. Then only it can increase the area or their productivity or their income also. Then, because of the high temperatures, it's North India is fortunate that they have the low temperatures during the winter season, aphid populations, which are the carriers for the viruses, and they get a good window for seed production. But here, either in West Bengal or in Odisha, or even in the West also, winters are short. So they don't get that window of 90 days to grow the good quality seed crop also. So we have to see the 70. And again the setback is productivity is low, because they get the productivity of about 25 to 30 tons. Here it is 15 tons. They sell, they say it's a good quality seed, but it is not good. It's almost G5 or G7 generation seed. So farmers are very good. They know very good agronomic practice CGIAR. You cannot blame the farmers, but the seed is degenerated. They can use the seed. We have to produce the seed locally, sustainable. There are two technologies. With the Department of Horticulture, the main, the funding, they are giving it apical rooted cutting. That's 100% disease-free G0. I will not go in details. And second has come the aeroponic also. That's another project that they produce the mini tubers here only, Odisha only. They produce ARC in Odisha only. They use 2 to 3 generations and they get the seed at a cheap rate. And whenever they need, they get the seed. And that's 100% virus free also. That will be low cost of the planting material and area will also increase. So then we have to develop the chain when we take market value chain. The seed producers and who buy the seeds also, that develop here locally instead of getting seed every year from Punjab or Haryana and plant here. These are the, how we can sort out. These are the heat tolerant varieties, 70 days instead of 90 days. High dry matter, processing, this is the best state also for processing varieties. Like what is in Gujarat or Madhya Pradesh, they are producing the all processing varieties. So Odisha has also a moderate climate. They can produce good processing quality. They can do the contract farming. Farmers can be benefited here also, like in West Bengal. That's another. So we have to get the varieties which are climate resilient, like the virus resistance, late blight also. These are the some of the varieties which have been developed by the International Potato Center specifically for Odisha. This is a Kufri Uday variety, 70 days. Last season it was tested in the Koraput. Farmers liked it, 70 days varieties. Almost 30 tons per hectare the tuber yield also. So they need such varieties also which can fit into the rice system, whether it's in the Kharif season or in the Rabi season also. So but seed is in production and maybe in the coming years the area will increase under this Kufri Uday variety also. So we have to find how can be grown. I will not take much time. So these were some of the challenges, constraints, and how these can be sorted out. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. I think another big round of applause for all the...
Yeah, thank you for that, Dr. Kadian. So in addition to that, what I would just like to say in 30 seconds is that given a number of challenges, but I think we have not been able to mention some of the policy interventions in these areas. And particularly for the roots and tubers, we would like to see what is the policy landscape, or how does the policy or strategies within these value chains look like in terms of, for example, the vegetatively propagated seeds and such kind. So that is my small addition. Thank you.
How much time do we have for the Q&A? 15 minutes, okay. All right, so we're going to go a little bit over time. But again, I want to thank the speakers for sticking to time and even shortening their presentations. I know it's very hard to do on short notice. But I think this has been a very interesting session once again. A lot of perspectives, a lot of experiences. A lot of talk of supporting farmers on the farm and raising productivity on the farm, but then also a big emphasis obviously on marketing. Dr. Pardy mentioned this morning that it's about policies, institutions, and markets, and I think markets features very strongly in this session of Mr. Jutta from the processing firm. Vegetables are mostly sold in primary form, and so it's really all about getting vegetables, good quality food to people, and again that issue that we discussed about the storage, and distressed sales that we want to try and avoid in this sector in particular. So I'm going to open up the floor for a few questions. We have about 15 minutes. So we're going to start with you. So go ahead. I'll take about 3 or 4 questions. If you can tell us who you're directing the question to, if it's to the panel in general, that's fine. If it's to someone.
The points that you mentioned about who owns it. So it's basically about the property rights that you were talking about when we are talking of, be it Amazon or any other ecosystem. But property rights is something that is very ambiguous, even though it has been debated over the last 20 to 30 years. especially when we talk about horticulture or agricultural ecosystem. Since the number of stakeholders and the beneficiaries are really diverse, it becomes very difficult to define the property rights, because once you define it, probably it becomes very easy to know who you are going to pay or who is going to pay for that particular service. And then I think the entire process will become probably easier to maintain, manage, and even become more productive. But taking a very diverse ecosystem as horticulture or agriculture, and farmers, especially in Odisha, being small and marginal, and where the land is so fragmented, how do we actually define the property rights in terms of policies?
And thank you. I didn't talk about any property rights. I just talked about who wants it.
Who wants it?
Meaning thereby.
That itself is a...
No, it's not like that. In each other states in the country, see, government pours means funds like anything towards production ecosystem, to strengthen the production ecosystem, to provide the critical links in the post-production means ecosystems, and at the same time also we support to sell our produce in the best possible market, be it within the states, neighboring state, or abroad. But despite that, if the farmer beneficiary, the individual or the group, does not have a sense of ownership on that particular structure, then it won't survive. Today, yes, government is providing for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. Tomorrow, it may not. But then what will happen to that? We have very, action will continue, sustain. And tomorrow, we need not to again talk of sustainable agri-food value chain. Right, thank you.
Okay, yes, please go ahead. And then after you, the lady just in front. And we can identify a third question, and we take 3 questions in a row and then have the panel respond. So go ahead.
How can CIP, the pilot project of SFLF, fit into the unavailability of cold storage in the state? And then how can we move forward for fitting varieties like Kufri Chipsona, which is also efficient as a value-added product, chips we can make from that. It can empower the farmers.
Because I'm in the last panel speaker, and I'm going to elaborate on that. So what I could understand from Rohit sir, ION is basically forward and backward linkage, and what is happening is in the entire value chain there are lots of defragmentation. So how can all be chained up, and that can be owned, and the entire value chain goes successfully in a sustainable manner. I think that is what sir wanted to say. I think I'll elaborate it, sir, in my session.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, actually, that value chain, contract farming is required here. PepsiCo came in Koraput for some years, but revert back because they could not do successfully. Like Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat have the warm climate. Odisha has better that. And Odisha has the advantage of the Kharif potato season. All processing industries in India, whether it's a Meccan or Haldiram or PepsiCo, they do not get potato during the months of July, August and September. They are dependent on the Kharif seasons from the hills. So we have an excellent area here in the Kharif, because Kharif potato has a high dry matter also. And processing industries cannot process the potato once it goes into the cold store. So they are dependent on the fresh potatoes. That could be an excellent chain. They can come in the processing potato productions. Varieties, Kufri Chipsona is there. Some of they are importing, but we do not recommend the importation.
Just I'm a little bit critical on this point. You see, who is producing flour of what we are consuming in Odisha? It's a small farmer of West Bengal. Who is producing potato? A small farmer of West Bengal. Who is producing seed?
And today, if I say we will depend on flowers from West Bengal or potato from West Bengal, it won't suit me as a director, because we have a mission, floriculture missions, and you won't believe. I will bet on this. You go to any market, roadside market in Bhubaneswar, you may not find vegetables in baskets or racks, but you will find a basket full of marigolds. That is the achievement. And this year the department has shown, and in Rayagada itself we have covered 120 acres in a clusters only of marigold. So probably in the next year, and next year, because this is a 5 years program. So next year our target is to at least make the state self-sufficient in marigold. But that's why I told Madam, where is Madam? He's here. He's here. So I told, who owns it? See, the model was not of West Bengal. The model was put on them. You use this model and make your state self-sufficient in production of potato. And today, West Bengal is not only self-sufficient, it's providing trucks of potatoes to other parts of the country. That is the truth. But then, why don't we implement that model in our state? That is the biggest question. The only thing is that we do not own that system. If farmers won't respond, if farmers don't feel that this is a model which I could replicate on my own with support of, provide at least support to 60,000 hectares in the state, so that around 12 to 13 lakh metric ton of potato could be produced in our state, and we won't further depend on our neighbors like West Bengal. That is what we are planning and working on that. By 25, we will wait till 25-26.
You want to start? Or, well, there's a microphone on that end.
A big round of applause, Shintoo. We will be now breaking for lunch, and lunch is served to policy demand and crisis. Ms. Yumna has coordinated and managed major projects, including the agriculturality and the qualitative evaluation of Egypt's Takaful and Karama cash transfer program, among others within the Egypt Strategies and Veterinary Sciences. Mr. Subrat Kumar Das, General Manager, Odisha Pisciculture Development Corporation Limited. Dr. Nagesh Kumar Barik, Principal Scientist, ICAR, Central Institute of Freshwater Aquaculture. And Dr. Sirak Bata, Senior Agricultural Scientist, International Livestock Research Institute. A big round of applause for all the speakers. May now session to take over the meeting.
Thank you. Lucky department for hosting us today and the organizing team. And livestock value chains, where success is for its enhanced growth. So over to you.
Everybody, members on the dais and of the dais, the post-lunch session is invariably not very encouraging, when it comes to the eastern part of the country, because we have a habit of having a nap after the lunch, and that's what has been taken by the Westerners today. And there is a concept of power nap post-lunch which is provided, and they say that it adds to the efficiency. But I'm sorry that I may not be able to get the chance to have a nap here. So those who can do it secretly and confidentially camouflaging the style of sleeping can do that. But I think my voice will not let you see. Year after year, understanding how dynamic is the challenges that the seafood sector is passing through. Coming from academics, way back in 2013, where I was into full-time academics, wherein I came in from industry. I worked in industry for almost 10 years. Then I came into academics, and I was in academics for about 18 years, 17 to 18 years. And thereafter, I thought of venturing into my own thing. I was teaching MBA students. I was teaching marketing. And my area of doctorate is branding. And that's what today drives the market. When we talk about brand, when we talk about market, that's what precisely drives the market. We don't go and pick up a product which is not known to us. Once we are confident that the promises made by a specific brand is delivering the promises consistently year after year, then the brand becomes strong and we become loyal to the brand. So coming to the seafood aspect, mentioning about market and brands and all that. So I personally feel business is marketing, for which we are here and we are talking. Business is marketing and market is economics. If the market is doing well, we say economics is doing well, or the economy of the country or the state or any specific area is doing well. If the market is not doing well, the economy is not doing well. So business is marketing, because you may have the best of the products with you, but if there is no taker, there is no buyer, your unit closes. And you may have something without having much publicity, and if there are takers, if there is a beeline in front of your house, you have got something very unique. So you don't need to go for expensive proposition of advertising, promotions and all that, and you can still sell your product comfortably unless and until it is copied, it is imitated and brought in by other competitors who are watching you in the marketplace. So with that brief note, when I'm coming to seafood value chain, a few value-added units who are making value-added products, and it is not just by saying that we should get into the value-added realms so that it will sustain the industry for the long run, because all those who are into value-added products in seafood sector are there for last 10 years, 15 years, 12 years, and they have established their brands in the international market. So if you're coming out copying what they do, if you're coming out with the product what they do in China, what they do in Vietnam, if we start doing that here, they already have a brand established. And going again, establishing your brand against these established players who are 5, 15, 20 years old in the market is again going to be a very, very tough call. So it's like a catch-22 situation. Neither you should supply raw material where you're not making a lot of money, nor you should get into the value-added product realms where you realize that there is a tough competition you have to face. So where is the crux? Looking at the value chain proposition, which was given by Peter Drucker. So value chain analysis and its management is a strategic planning tool. So it's a strategic planning tool used in analyzing the value chain of a company or sector or a product. So when we are talking about value chain, it may starts from the farm, in our case in seafood, or in case of agricultural producer, it comes from the farm to the factory. So when it comes from the farm, it includes, when the seed comes to the farm, the farming happens. So there has to be a cost reduction there. There has to be a cost reduction in logistics when it is brought, so that you are adding value. When it comes to the factory, the process should be so significant, so scientific, that it should also reduce cost. So everywhere you have to find out how I can reduce my cost. When you're reducing cost, your price that you're going to ask for to the customer can be also controlled, and the customer feels that he's getting value. So when we talk about value, precisely it is the differential between the cost and the benefit. If the benefit is high, the customer says that I get a best value, or I get a better value from the particular proposition that's or particular product or service I buy in the market space. So it was introduced in 1985 by Michael Porter, who was always talking about innovation and value. If you're not innovating, you perish. So that's what was his proposition. So let's look at it a little more deeply, and it is the chain that's inbound logistics. I'd say that there has to be cost reduction. Every bit of it, you need to work on so scientifically. You need to find out where there's a possibility of reducing the cost. And the companies like Tata's, in 80s, there was a smart manager who found out that every time they go for internal circulation of some paper, some memos or office memo, so this young officer, he found out that they are using one A4 size paper, scribbling something and passing it on to another executive. And the executive to whom he is passing on, he is taking out another piece of paper, writing something and giving answer to another person. So in the loop. So they were using so many papers. So finally they came out with the proposition that one paper, one A4 size paper, first it should be written on pencil on both sides, and then it should be on pen on both sides. So that's how they are reducing the cost. Now if they are using paper worth of 1 crore in a year, that is brought down, if it is brought down by 75%, that is brought down to 25 lakhs. That is how we need to observe each and every bit of it, every cost of it, and it could be the support activities, it could be the primary activities. Everywhere there is a scope to reduce the cost aspect, and that in turn benefits the customers, and we give better product at a much better value to the market space. So the process is the full range of activities, the entire activities that I've already asked. Actually, he came to me and said that no, I'm not getting any profit. I'm making ice, but I don't make any profit. So I asked him about his cost sheet. When I looked into his cost sheet, everything he has taken into account, but he has not taken the cost of water, because invariably perception is very, very important. Examine the value chain of your competitors, so you need to understand what your competitors are doing, and this is where we need to understand that whatever value-added product that we are talking about in seafood today, these are all imported from outside. It is either from Korea, if you're talking about prawn tempura, we are talking about nobasi, we are talking about so many different types of prawn preparations which are ready to eat, then ready to cook. So these are basically the products that we get from outside, we get from the customer's country, and we understand that this is what is to be done, and that's why already so many players are there. So there could be another approach where you need to identify the products which are not yet made it to the international markets in terms of ready to eat or ready to cook. So if that is identified and that is processed and we give a new, I'm coming to the end of it. Thank you very much. In fact, marketing, value addition. We were at about 400 crores around 2003, 2002. Today we have crossed 4,500 crores, 4,600 crores in terms of our export to the global market. But the profit margin of the exporter is declining very, very sharply. And that's because we are still 80% raw material exporter and 20% hardly we do some value addition. So if we just change gear, come out with product propositions which are not existing in the marketplace and make it test better to the customer and offer that, we can add value to what we produce here. We can get better revenue and it will be sustainable for the entire stakeholder community. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mishra. We're going to follow the same structure as the previous session, Farmers Association. So, the way is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'll just give a brief introduction of myself. I'm Devdutt Biswal. So I have a company called Agrifood Private Limited, and we are completely into agro-based food producers. And apart from that, our main business is actually egg production, and I lead the Farmers Association of the Egg Producers in Odisha. So I'll start with. I have three parts actually. Lastly, what we have scope in egg production in future in Odisha. So the three parts I'm going to discuss. Commercial farmers in Odisha who are producing eggs. We have 30,000 direct and 75,000 indirect employment in Odisha for egg industry. And in Odisha we have maize production is one of the major ingredient which we are consuming about 90% of that whole maize. We have 1 crore and 3 lakhs egg production daily in Odisha, which is quite less compared to what we have in India. And we have 96 lakhs of consumption capacity in Odisha, which is also very less. And because of the low consumption, sometimes we have also export eggs to outside Odisha. So these are basically the production hubs we have. So you can see out of 31 districts, we have only 5 or 6 districts which are producing eggs, and rest are not producing. So you can see the prospect or the opportunity we have in Odisha to Agro farms. So we are producing mostly eggs. So we are producing around 75 million eggs every year. We have fisheries, we have horticulture. So we are producing fish, mango, lemon, guava, and we are currently into organic fertilizer production unit. So it's going on. So next year we're going to produce around 4,000 metric tons of organic fertilizer. So that fertilizer based product. So basically it's about 90 acres farm spreading across all our components, and these are the supports we received from government. Like early in the morning, our Epical MD talked about this schemes that we have. So we have last 4 or 5 years we received couple of subsidies and waivers from government. So that is what, and I encourage farmers to also go to Apical and find out the subsidy schemes we have. It's very easy to get actually. It's not very difficult, and government is promoting farmers to, encouraging farmers to come out and do some commercial agriculture. So these are the must have to do to become a successful farmer. So the full-time involvement in the farm management, weekly monitoring of the cost, because cost is one of the major factor in our agriculture producers, because we are not getting that much of revenue or the sale price for which we can get much of a major problem in India. So we have to be very proactive enough to prevent those diseases, doing a lot of vaccinations and blood testing on a regular basis. And lastly, agriculture products. Earlier someone told we are selling tomato at 1 rupee a kilo. So we have to create our own supply chain to get the money, not depending upon the traders, local traders who are actually exploiting the farmers. So the farmers has to create their own supply chain to get the benefit out of it. So these are the challenges as a farmer. Farming is very highly investment oriented job. As a egg farmer, we are in India where we don't have much of cold storage and lab testing facility, for which we are talking to from our association side. We are constantly talking to the government. Yesterday also we had a workshop at Mayfair on the same topic on the egg production enhancement. So they've noted down maybe 4.5 crore populations, against which we have only 95 lakhs of consumption. It's only, you can say, 25% of the whole population. So we are expecting over next 5 years, at 10% if we increase the consumption of eggs, so we'll have around 150,000 of consumption guarantee, and for which we have enough opportunity. So government has targeted by 2025 120 lakhs of distribution. So we have also requested government to increase the number of eggs distribution in different schemes, and compared to other states, we are very less in egg distribution. So the government is also committed to do around at least 1 or 2 eggs per day per person increase. So that is going to increase around 10 lakhs egg per day consumption in Odisha. So these are the few.
Thank you, Mr. Biswa. The additional director at the Odisha Biological Products Institute, OBPI, the Fisheries and Animal Resources.
Good afternoon. Again, a very good warm welcome to all the esteemed delegates on the dais and all the dignitaries in the auditorium. The livestock sector, the government has formulated number of schemes and policies to augment this sector and use this sector for poverty alleviation in rural areas. So far, the formulation of comprehensive agriculture policy in '96, the animal husbandry sector has been incorporated there, and our state is the second state in the country who prepared a separate livestock policy in 2002. And after formulation of this agricultural policy Samruddhi in 2020, livestock is been emphasized in individual mode as well as in women self-help group mode. So, in spite of the growth in the livestock sector, although there is in the last decade, there is 10% growth in the GDP of the total agricultural GDP of the state, from 13% to 23%. Still then, the life sector has several challenges in the state. Out of this, the main challenge is the lack of availability of quality feed and a lack of knowledge regarding balanced feeding to the livestock and poultry. The next is the marketing. Marketing as the livestock sector for food of animal origin. Either it may be of fishery sector, or it may be of livestock sector, or dairy sector, or poultry sector. So, as there is a huge demand, so there is a ample chance of growth in the livestock sector. Keeping in view, although in this last decade or last 2 decades, we have produced in case of the ruminants, both in dairy and small animals, smallholders are estimated to produce the large majority of the small ruminants and 70% of the milk in India. In contrast, Indian poultry sector has been rapidly commercialized and broiler production is estimated to be 70% in the organized sector. So, 2 worlds of the livestock in India competing set of producer and differentiated mostly by state or region. The production is increasingly commercialized or market driven. In advanced state in Haryana and Gujarat and lacking in our state. So, what I was telling, this is the present status of milk production in our state. Sector. So, OUAT structure, it has 11 milk unions, 3,600 cooperative society, and around 3,70,000 members, out of which very good, robust milk handling unit, which has a capacity to process 9 lakh liters per day, but presently handling to 50% of its capacity.
Dr. Mishra, time is up. Maybe you can start wrapping up.
The strategy to develop the livestock sector, mostly the 3 things are there. One is feed. So we have divided the entire state into 3 regions. One is hilly regions, 10 districts, and a number of unwanted male offspring can be reduced.
Dr. Mishra, maybe a summary?
Now, 183 mobile veterinary units has been established of the government, and another 133 is going to be established very shortly. And by this, they have government has developed toll-free number 1962, and also among Kusi, the farmers can also call through 1553 among Kusi and get the help of the mobile veterinary clinic.
Discuss about the government's perspective on fisheries sector. Fisheries is one of the sunrising sectors in Odisha and also in India. And recently we have got a Department of Fisheries in Government of India in the last 19-20 years. And our state is having so many activities in fisheries sector, as well as we are also implementing Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana, which is a Government of India flagship scheme. We'll just see the status of fisheries in Odisha. So in fisheries we have 3 sectors. One is inland sector, one is marine sector, and another is brackish water sector. And as far as all these sectors are concerned, Odisha is at a very good place. In total fish production, Odisha stands at number 4. And in inland fish production, it is number 4. Marine fish production, it is number 7. And annual per capita consumption, it is number 6. So the data is of 2021, that is published data. And the recent data, the 5% in inland fish production, and in marine and overall it is 26.42%. And we discussed about the per capita fish consumption. So these are the resources available in Odisha. I am not going into much of detail. So in fish production and projection, as we speak up during last years, last 5 years, so to say, and even after next 2 years, we are about to achieve around 12 lakh metric ton fish production in Odisha, and during last year we have achieved around 10.52 lakh metric ton in Odisha fish production. Then to have better fish production, the most important aspect is to have good quality seed. So Odisha has also worked a lot in fish seed production, and we have achieved almost 312% growth from 2018-19 to until now, and we have almost achieved our self-sufficiency. Previously we were having importing of seed from West Bengal. So now with introduction established, so we have almost achieved self-sufficiency. That is 296 crore of spawn production during current year. So the Seafood Export Association Odisha. So he will also be speaking of much about this. I am not going to say much about this. And as far as achievement at national level is concerned, we have almost achieved per capita fish availability from 2001 to from 7.42 kg to now 23.12 kg per annum. This is per head. Then in national ranking, from the position of 8, we have achieved 4th position now during last 20 years. So what are the key initiatives to boost the fishery sector by the state government that we are going to see in following slides? So basically our government is giving much of importance in early breeding and seed sufficiency that we have almost achieved this year. Then intensification of culture system. Previously the culture system was basically traditional and extensive, and now gradually we have improved it to semi-intensive, and we have introduced so many biofloc and RAS projects under this system. Then we are also going with diversification of fish species, and as well we are going with entrepreneurship development in fishery sector. And these are other Gram Panchayat tanks are being leased to women SHGs for a long period, say minimum for 3 years and maximum 5 to 10 years. And where they are taking up to 60% subsidy on input assistance is available for fish breeding in pre-monsoon season called early breeding. And under PMMSY, you have already established around 40 number of private hatcheries and 7 more are going to come up. Is given at the rate of 40 to 60% for establishment of biofloc or RAS tanks. Subsidy, capital investment subsidy is almost 1 crore. So this is what I was saying. So every year we are having marine catch culture with Government of India CMFRI in Balesur coast. Then installation of transponder for the boats which are there, and now deployment of AR is going on. And these are some government schemes which we are having: MKUI, MMKUI, and Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampad Yojana. I was saying about this umbrella scheme which has just been introduced. Previously some schemes are there and new schemes have been added. There are so many things, starting from assistance to fish seed hatcheries to livelihood support to fishermen. And as far as fisheries infrastructure is concerned, government is very keen on developing fishing harbour, fish landing centres, wholesale and retail hygienic fish markets, and one new integrated aqua park is
made my life easier because he has already covered a lot of things. So I'll skip all of these things, what is happening. I'll come to the point of some of the major drivers and what are the challenges and how to it is about inland fisheries. It is primarily 80% aquaculture. So it has grown from around 1.5 million ton to around 10 million tons. So 10 times increase in last 70-80 years. So there is a lot of increase in the technological progress in last 40 years. So we are around 2 to 3 tons per hectare to around 12 tons per hectare. So there is a lot of technological changes, and every days, every alternative days, there are new technologies are coming, and it is a very fast growing sector. So productivity is improving across the country, and it is all going into the different models. There is a say around 10 ton model, there is 1.1 to 4.5 ton model, there are 7.5 ton model, there are 12 ton. So farmers and entrepreneurs are adopting a various models from a very low scale to the very high scale. Now the question is why they are adopting some people are adopting a very traditional system, some people are adopting a intensive system. Why they are doing that? That is the major question. I'll little deal with that. Okay, so basically it is a question of if you see this table, basically when you go from the lower level of production to higher level of production, you require investment, because you require investment in capital, you require investment in terms of working capital. So state like Odisha or even state like Bihar, where there is lack of capital for the farmers and farm size is smaller, they generally go for low intensive culture. But the state like Andhra Pradesh, which is they go for a capital intensive system, high productive system. So it was a very puzzle for us that why some of the states are going in a low productivity system, why some of the states are going the high productive system. So when you try to analyze this economics, when we don't take into account their land cost, their family labor cost, and their personal management cost, it looks very profitable for a small farms and having low productivity. But if you add all of this cost and put a market value to it, market value to the land, market value to the family labor, market value to the management cost, it becomes not, it is not very profitable. So basically what I'm to say that if you ask to a farmer in Odisha, say how much money you are spending, he will say that I'm just spending 20,000 rupees per acre and I'm getting 60,000 rupees, so it is profitable. But if you start calculating all these things, actually he is in a loss. So he is not getting any profit. As he is not getting profit, he is not able to upscale, he is not able to invest, he is not able to move to a high productive area. So take all cost of family labor cost, land cost, everything. Then only you should analyze in terms of business perspective that whether this model is viable or not. So many of the business, this model what we analyze, mainly traditional farming is not viable at the smaller scale. If they move to a higher scale and higher investment, then it's become viable. So growth at present, last 10 years you see, so we will able to create 5 hatcheries, 15 seed rearing units, and feed units and fish products and everything, and become viable unit. And now around 1,000 farmers or entrepreneurs are engaged in this, creating a new value chain. So it has come in a very short period of time, around 5 years time. I'll come to the critical that we need to sustain and no more innovation is required. The adoption of traditional technology into the non-conventional areas, because traditionally
agricultural scientist at the International Livestock Research Institute.
The importance of livestock master plan in unlocking policies and investments in the livestock sector. So I will skip some of the slides because Dr. Mishra has already told us about the constraints and the status of the sector. So livestock is mostly smallholder livestock in many countries, particularly in the developing countries. And Dr. Mishra already showed us like 80% of the livestock in Odisha is smallholders. But it contributes also about 20 to 40% to the GDP of the developing countries. In case of Odisha, like from the study of Baron this morning, he showed that livestock contributes more than any other commodities to the state GDP. But the problem is that the sector doesn't really get the resource that it deserves. So in many countries there is very chronic under-investment, and there is a lack of evidence of evidence-based planning. And this could be due to also the lack of capacity to do detailed evidence-based planning. So, as you can see, also demand for livestock products is increasing in many regions. So it's very important to have evidence-based planning so that the livestock can get the resource that it deserves. So. What is livestock master plan? So livestock master plan is basically it's evidence-based planning, and then it really comes up with the evidence, and then it also prepares a budget or that can really reflect the evidence. So there are 3 deliverables. The first one is just to explain what's the status of livestock, and then based on that, so it starts at the farm level, and then it goes to the national level. So that's first you study what's the status, and with the business as usual, how is like the future demand in livestock products. So these are some of the scenarios that we use. It depends, like based on the development objective of the country. If the development objective is just to reduce poverty, and the plan will help like to prioritize which of the value chains can really help to reduce poverty. So the way it works is we work closely with the experts from the country, and then you have the team of experts and then the team of directors that are led by secretaries and so on. So the experts, they do the work and then they regularly update also the team of directors. I don't know if there was a picture here, if you can see. That was an example of Odisha, so the experts were closely working with us. So here is, because this project was during the COVID also, then we were meeting them online, so this you can see that the experts were meeting us online. So here are some of the experts who work with us. Also, maybe Dr. Mishra was also one of these experts here. So we've classified the state into 3 production systems for the sake of capturing the variation of the parameters. And our priority value chains were cattle, goat, and sheep. So we have tried to also further classify the livestock products and the value chains. So I will not go into details. The investment, but this is a snapshot of the detailed investment to improve the sector. So we had some interventions around feed and breeding interventions and animal health interventions. Not too big.
Thank you, Surak. Thank you, Surak. Thank you. A few minutes, I think about 14 minutes for any questions or comments. We can take a set of 3. Okay, Baru.
Again, person, at the bottom of that figure you mentioned that low in-house demand. So how that is related? So where this 90% is going?
1 month and summer, when the school goes down, like for school closes for 1.5 months. So that time our consumption actually get reduced by 20%. So during that time, we don't have that much of cold storage facility. So I give small farmers, they don't have money to even circulate that. Like we have to.
A big part of that in this state is subsidies. And then in this session, I think it's the first time that where we started talking about subsidies for infrastructure that either public or private institutions then build and so I guess with things like fisheries or poultry, aquaculture and poultry and so on, you need that infrastructure. But maybe Sirak, this is a question for you. Why is there an expectation that government should subsidize infrastructure when it's going to be privately owned, or is this really kind of just a kind of an infant industry argument that you have there?
Investment, you don't expect that all this investment has to come from the public. So there are areas also that the private sector has to come in, or they come in as public-private partnership. So we've tried to identify those kind of investments. From what I have...
if you grow with this pace, can you make expected this growth will be achieved or not? Because we have the constraints with us. As per the master plan is you are there, Sachira. I am also part of this.
Both of fish products, if it is fed with soya feed.
Okay.
Well, that's again a polluting agent. So the alternative needs to be found out.
Maybe. But
first of all, we do not have the supply. First of all, we have the constraints of soya. On top of that, the restrictions are coming up. And that's polluting. That's creating environmental hazards.
What's soya?
Soya, yeah. That is heavy deforestation happening for soya cultivation.
A big round of applause that we have successfully and timely completed some amazing deliberations for the day. Dr. Sarvana and Mishra sir as well.
Private sector and state, and all the panels were nicely mixed, so we got perspective on agri-food systems. We'll also talk about regional disparities and a bunch of other things. So without further ado, you can either stay here or you can go to the board.
We could present ourselves regarding the future and prospects of agri-food value chain in Odisha particularly. And to start with, moving forward in Odisha and kind of challenges and opportunity that we are having. to summarize the challenges of agri-food value chain in Odisha, that we can summarize in one sentence, that is, Odisha is the disaster capital of India. So basically that means in last 50 years, we have been experiencing near about 48 years of flood, cyclone, anything, drought, everything that we have experienced. And now what is happening actually, the prospects of those climate resilient type of thing, that how best we can collaborate with each other and we can demonstrate the agri-food value chain in our context. And I think there are delegates from different countries as well, where renewable energy is going to be the main criteria for agri-food value chain in the future context. And let me introduce myself. Actually, I am the senior advisor of Salco Foundation. Basically, Salco Foundation is a philanthropic organization working only for sustainable energy-based interventions in agri and agri-value chain. Whenever we are talking about the agri-food value chain, so there are three components that we have already discussed in the morning session. One is the food production and nutritional food security and nutritional security, and second is the sustainability. And of course, the sustainability, whenever we are talking about the sustainability, is it addressing the poverty first? Is it reliable? Whenever we are talking about the food value chain system, there is requirement of energy. And in Odisha, we know that reliability is a question. And most of these entrepreneurs who are actually adopting the business for agri-food value chain sector, they are not in a position to generate income in a sustainable way. So this is how the Salco Foundation, our organization, is going to promote the agri-value chain system, where decentralized renewable energy are playing a vital role in addressing the issues. So this Salco Foundation, the key focus area is the clean energy access, because we are also, Salco Foundation is also working in Africa, and for Tanzania, Uganda, Kenya, representatives of Kenya, Ethiopia are also there. So where renewable energy based interventions are going to be the major source of energy, where it can provide enough opportunity for the business purpose and entrepreneurship development. The answer that Director Horticulture was talking about, who wants it. So these are few things that we need to take care of whenever we are thinking about renewable energy based or small agri-business components creating value chain. The next introduction of micro business that I have already told about. Micro business, we are calling it a resilient micro business, where small and marginal farmers can actually diversify their activities in creating agri-business models. So for us, we know that in northern Odisha part, Balasore, Mayurbhanj, puffed rice is the major staple food being consumed by the community, and that can be produced through this type of clean and renewable energy based interventions can also be taken through them. And in most of the cases in Odisha, Mission Shakti, from Mission Shakti Bazaar and Mission Shakti Cafe, renewable energy based interventions are taking part in creating some value chain of agri-food produce. Millet value chains also being produced through this type of small enterprises can also be established to provide sustainable income to the community. This is a few things that solar powered papad making and hydraulic technology. The cost is near about 2 lakhs up to 3 lakh rupees. Of course, I know that the cost is quite high because the initial investment of solar is quite high. So that's why there is requirement of government subsidy or government policy so that the small and marginal farmers can take it. Otherwise, it is not possible. Who will provide subsidy? Who will give that amount of money for 2 lakh rupees or 5 lakh rupees? So this small intervention, it costs around 1.5 lakh rupees, but it is very hygienic, and Jagatsinghpur, Balasore, these are highly appreciated by the farmers, and which can use renewable energy as source of income. The cost is around 1.38 lakhs, and it can easily be afforded by the farmer as well as the entrepreneur. So these are few. Solar is not viable for excess heating and excess cooling. Other than that, everything and anything can be done through solar. So in future, if at all we are thinking about green revolution or green subsidy in the policy level, so that it can be adopted by the farmers. Chikli making is also one of the options that we can explore. There is solar power floor and chili processing unit, basically in the rural areas where chili production is there, that can be packaged and that can be used. That can be used as a income source available, where the solar energy can also be incorporated to generate income. These are few things that I want to add, and of course the solar powered farm making technology.
In addition to the questions that we'll receive, I'll ask you towards the end about your top 3 asks. If you are from the private sector, your top 3 asks, what should the government be doing? If you're from the government, your top 3 ask what you expect from the private sector to do. Okay.
Respected administration and of this. Today, due to difficulties, Mr. Sandeep Patnaik from Assam could not reach here. Myself, Mr. ACSSC Nandi, representing Assam for the purpose. We have got Assam as a startup since 1998, but it is actually came into operation from 2000, and the business started from 2005 and 6. To a great achievement, we could get the GI tag for Kondhamal Haldi in 2020. Now, as a startup, what I told earlier, the Kondhamal Apex Spices Association for Marketing was registered in 1998, federating 61 societies who were dealing with turmeric business. Initially, and the objectives are so many. Now, our journey starts in 1999 with 80 hectares of turmeric only, and that too under organic certification with 200 farmers, with staff 15 numbers. That year our income was to sell their produce at better price, and the consumer will get at affordable price. Entire district, 12 blocks has been covered, and now during the year 2023-24, the present area under certification is much bigger, 780 hectares under third party certification and 4,900 hectares under PGS certification. The crops taken and the dry production is 24,000 metric ton. And generally, the farmers sell turmeric at the cost 48 to 52 rupees a kilo, whereas as approved price by administration, district administration, Assam purchases at 60 rupees a kilo. This is the position year-wise from 1920, and this year we have already procured 824 metric ton out of 40,000 ton consumption. As was being discussed forenoon, now mainly ginger.
Also for sticking to the time and for highlighting some of the future actions that could be taken.
National average. But within Odisha also there are a lot of regional dispatches are there. we all know that KBK districts, KBK, well-known phenomenon. Since last 20 years, policy decision makers are talking about Kalhandi, Balangir, and Koraput, that southern region. It's a highly very undulating hilly type of being. A lot of we cannot move enhance productivity technologies. And the southern part is this, again northern part, even western parts. All these are all low productive areas. Only the middle, some coastal and that one portion that is having it is reaching high productivity. In the remaining these belts, all these belts are having very low productivity. So, for example, even KBK region, they are contributing 19% population. That area contribution is 30%, and 90% of the population in rural areas. And female literacy is also low, and BPL families also share is very high, 72%. Even PM Kisan, it is based on the land records. Even credit, formal credit, even insurance, even fertilizer, irrigation, subsidies, so many subsidies. Because nowadays all government, state government or central government, they are all welfareist. And their welfare schemes, most of the direct money transfers and everything is linked to the land. Now what is happening, this link to the land, most of the land within this, the farming
has growing hubs and lagging regions, and public policies and the private sector engagement can be very different, whether we are in a lagging region or in a growth hub. So thank you for making this very. From the Magic Millet Foundation, Millet Magic Foundation. Great.
Yes, that is one thing we miss. Too many women, and that I also miss in the forums, most of the forums. But it's good to be here. And a very important topic which we are discussing is value chain and how we can make it more successful. Because actually we are the one who are dealing with it, and we are the one who sees the different kind of small segmentation in value chain, which is not creating the value chain as complete. And there is where we feel the gap and we struggle to make it complete. So here I am Shama Jha from Millet Magic Foundation, experience of sales and marketing in the corporate world definitely. So that actually drove us and right now is driving us to be part of this very, very difficult value chain. But we are very much determined that we can make it very, very successful. And that is where I found Mr. Rohit Lenka's word, who owns it. Very, very exciting and very, very challenging. I'm feeling as if this actually echoed what we keep saying always, that at every level we should owe our value chain system. Right now, if we talk about farmers, I have been hearing right since morning, for farmers we have so many different kind of things. What all are we doing to increase the production? What all are we doing to increase the growth of farmer by bringing them back to farming? What all are we doing to create best quality produce? We are doing so much to create, give them small ecosystem where they can do their primary and secondary production. But are we there to give them market? Are we market ready? Are the farmers market ready? Or are that market ready to give us a very long-term sustainability for those farmers? So then here, that's where we land up, and those were the thoughts when we started this particular organization, Millet Magic Foundation. Yes, we are working into a very, very difficult field, that is millet. I'm sure everyone who resonates with agriculture right now, though we are in the year of International Year of Millet, but all of us know that selling millet and millet-based product right now at a very, very big market and a very big turnover is such a difficult thing. We in Odisha, all of us are facing that issue, but all of us are standing by it. Though this year has given us very, very good confidence towards it, but when we started 3.5 years back, at that time, though Odisha, we had Odisha Millet Mission, but I can tell you beyond Odisha, there were states who even asked me, that what is millet. But this time in World Food Expo, our proudest moment was that last year in the same forum, people asked us what is millet. But this year the things changed and they said, okay, we also want to explore millet. So that was the transit which we saw, and that is where the entire ecosystem comes in. So we are talking about value chain. So right from day one, we had this vision in our mind to create farmers definitely doing the farming, but at the same time having a very, very sustainable market for them, which can be joined together. And that is where the sustainability comes in. And definitely we have our missions and values that goes beyond this discussion. So coming back to value chain again, I heard, I was not part of it, but I heard that Padhi sir said that policy, institution and marketing, these are the three pillars of value chain. And we definitely resonate with it. And here are my three pillars which I feel which is very important. Again, the same thing, finance, knowledge and policy. Finance is very, very, very important. I am sure everybody, all the farmers, be it we the private players. Right now we were talking about what we thought. I like to give more of my examples because we are just few years into the system, and that is the way we came in this 3.5 years. So market first, we thought, when we thought of millet, we first thought what market needs. What was the requirement of the market? Why millet market? And can be, like you can see that there is space for your dragon fruits also. And what if it spoils? What are the schemes and supports that you can get? So they were blank. So there, what I found out that these are the loopholes wherein when we go teach the farmers, teach them what to do, we never teach them what is the value chain. We tell them, okay, you grow this, okay, you do this, but what after that? What we will do? Okay, you will say that, okay, you have a mandi where you can sell it. But what about the shelf life? And if the shelf life gets spoiled, what best they can do to preserve it? So these are the missing links which we are looking at, which we are also very much facing in the entire value chain. But what we have done is that we have converted millet into a product which is very much marketable, which is very much accepted in the market, which market is looking at. At the same time, we made it a point, innovation, marketing plus branding has to be taken care of. But these three we knew because we were marketeers. I'm not sure every person in this value chain will understand that. So these are the missing links which they should be taught and they should be made. They have only two requirements, finance and market. These are the two things which they feel we lack around. Why they feel so? Because we know that we have very good schemes. No wonder we have very good schemes. We try propagating it everywhere. But yet, down the line, people knowing it, and yes, I'll mention
for highlighting the importance of the value chain, also looking at the consumer preferences. And I mean, when I see your branding and marketing, I feel like I should buy such a millet package very soon. Thank you very much. All right, so let's open this up. We have about, 10 minutes?
Knowing more about Millet Magic Foundation and with the Selco Foundation, you people are really working with the rural marsh, so that's a very good thing. Congratulations to both of you. But I have 1 or 2 points to add. About the subsidy assistance that the women SHGs or anyone can get by.
First of all, congratulations for your success stories. Since morning, I heard something about that APUs are competing each other. They are doing all the activities. So instead of competing, they must complement. So I want to listen from you on that aspect. What is that feasibility?
About the cost, that it is higher than the conventional machine. What about the repairs and maintenance of those machines? Suppose it breaks down. So who repairs, how it has been repaired, and what are your client base? Like it is small farmer, because we have heard that 90% of our small farmers and small and marginal farmers, whether you are selling it to single farmers.
In the interest of time, can add 2 to 3 action points that from your point of view should be a big priority here in the state.
Products are solution to a customer's problem. So whether it is infrastructure,
I have been here because of the schemes, the government schemes only. My first scheme was Government of India MSME Spurti scheme, under which we got for our innovation a grant of 5 crore rupees. After that, recently for our primary processing, we have taken Agri-Infra fund of 2 CR. And in that MKUI, we have just got approval for that. We are getting a subsidy, taken huge benefits from government, and that is helping us going. And so regarding processing of 5 millets, so actually we were facing problem in getting flour, and it was getting very, very costly when we were getting it over here. And here in Orissa, we don't have all millets being processed in a good quality, especially for the what you talked about. In February, in OUAT, I did a program, military, basically a fleet of millet-based FPOs, and in which we joined all the FPOs. FPOs are actually on ground, they are not competing with each other, they are struggling. And in that, whatever you are seeing, it looks like competing. I very much feel, being from a retail background, like Retailers Association, we should have FPO association, and you'll see that they will flourish with each other. So that was my initiative, but I have not been able to be very successful in that, but I want to take it up. And regarding export, yes, we are right now in talks with 5 different countries. So hopefully in next few months, we'll give you a good news.
So that you can adopt the proper technology. And second is the training and capacity building. So entire ecosystem.
And the collaboration with many of you. Thank you very much.
Request all of you to be seated for some more time, because we have a couple of more things left, but we'll be quick. Before we wrap up this panel discussion, I would like to request Dr. Clemens to please felicitate
Mr. Gautam Kumar Pradhan and the representative from Kasam.
Flowers first? Sorry? Yeah, it's for you.
Sorry. It's okay.
We have a few to felicitate Dr. Carl Paul. Next we have with us Ms. Yumna Kasim.
November 2022. So it is a nice journey. So thank you.
Round of applause for these delegates who have given their time, their expertise, their insightful deliberations for today. We also have Dr. Last but not the least, I request Dr. Barundeep Pal to give his closing remarks.
A lot of learning messages. So before I hand over this to Dr. Mishra to bid vote of thanks, I must acknowledge Manmeet to come over the stage, and I request the team to make this happen and to keep sending all the agenda, the logistic, everything. So this is fine. Yeah. So please, may I hope for you to make this event successful. And the way we conducted the training, this event. Thank you for your support.
So now, actually, this is a start of a long journey, and we together will work for this. And this is, I think, a very good platform to work jointly. So I think this will be a very good beginning, and we all are committed to work. Our mission is to have a self-sufficient, self-sustainable, and also predictions or roads ahead for the year 2036. Going for a formal vote of thanks, just I wanted to give the certificate of appreciation for those who have worked for this consultation workshop. So just naming them one by one maybe very long. So I would request the the head of the rapporteur team, just I will hand over the list of certificates, the bunch of certificates, so that he can distribute. Then I will give the formal vote of thanks. So, may I request Dr. Kshitish Kumar Sarangi? Yes, Dr. Devadatta Behura. So he is here. So may I request Dr. Devadatta Behura and Dr. Kshitish Kumar Sarangi? Can you please come? Very good evening to all of you. So this is my honor and privilege to propose the formal vote of thanks, and I want to acknowledge the contribution of those who worked really hard for this event to make it colorful and successful. On behalf of the project and on the behalf of the team OUAT, IFPRI and the government, extend my sincere thanks to the Almighty for making this event a grand success. On behalf of the team, I extend a hearty vote of thanks to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Prabhat Kumar Raul, who could spend his quality time in the today's morning in the inaugural session, in spite of his very busy schedule. A series of interviews are going on, so he could come and participate successfully in the inaugural session. And esteemed Principal Secretary Dr. Arvind Kumar Padi, also for giving his kind consent for gracing this occasion as the chief guest, in spite of his very hectic schedule. Because today we all know that till yesterday night 11 a.m. he could not reach Bhubaneswar. There was a function in Hyderabad. So it shows his commitment for this event. Also, he wanted to contribute for the cause of this project. So we used to consult him for so many things. Then, for our heartfelt thanks to all the speakers for all the sessions, who gave a brief insight on concerned topics, and also to all the moderators for conducting the session smoothly. To all our IFPRI partners, Dr. Clements, Dr. Chiman Mitra, and also Dr. Pai. Dr. Leonard Kirui and Dr. Mahinder Kadian. I also offer my heartfelt thanks on behalf of the team to Dr. K.R. Oso and also Dr. Amarinder Reddy, who could join this meeting in spite of their very hectic schedule. So we are very much grateful to both of you. Prepare entire stage today. Her own ideas and her elegance and explanations. It's actually and extend thanks. I also want to thank Dr. Pujalita Vera for their enormous patience and noting down all the keynotes. Hopefully, these keynotes we will be able to submit very soon. An event like this cannot happen overnight. The wheels start rolling weeks ago. It requires planning and a bird's eye for details. We have been fortunate enough to be backed by a team of very proactive and dedicated staff and students, especially Dr. Manoj Kumar Das, Mr. Parth Pratyush Tripathi, Mr. Amiya Misra, Ms. Sunita Das, Mrs. Sipra Patnaik, Madhusmita Misra, Mr. Udip Panda, Mr. Subhakant Das, and Rasmi Ranjan Behra for our whole team who have worked all the days. So we are very much thankful. We are also immensely thankful to all our students and volunteers whose name I could not take due to pursuit of time, but are behind the scene in making this event a grand success. We are also very much thankful to all the media representatives. So last but not the least, I must mention our deep sense of appreciation to Dr. Borun Dev Pal and Mr. Manmeet. Because since last several days it was Manmeet who used to work from morning to yesterday it was 12, yesterday and day before yesterday also. So we are very much grateful to you, and also for Dr. Borun, he told that sir, anytime just text me and we will be available. So this is simply awesome, simply great. So we are very, very thankful to you. So that's all. So thanks you all, and Jai Jagannath.